The emperor, with his mind-reading power, became a ruthless scoundrel. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 226, Killing the 9 Clans. Uncle, why did you hit me? He was like a child who had been wronged. He didn't understand what he did wrong, and he looked like he wanted to get to the bottom of it. After all, his uncle hid him in front of so many people. How could he, the imperial envoy, save his face? The Minister of Justice was shaking all over. He never thought that his nephew would be so stupid. If he had known, he shouldn't have come all the way here today. Now it seems that he can't win. His position should not be kept. He will most likely be dismissed when he returns. Why did the emperor sneak out of the palace, but he didn't get any news? He clearly just said that the emperor decided to let his wife stay with the prince for a month because of the prince's affairs. He originally thought that the emperor would not attend court anymore, or at least stay in the palace. He never expected that the emperor and the queen would actually leave the palace together. How unbelievable is this? If this news spreads, it will most likely cause unrest on the lawn, but he has no way to guarantee whether he can return to the capital safely. After all, his nephew has done so many stupid things, which is equivalent to directly offending the emperor. How could the emperor allow someone to challenge his bottom line? He was sweating profusely, looking at Geng Guanyu in panic, and then said to his nephew with a sense of disappointment, "You are a guy who is more likely to cause trouble than to do good. Do you know who he is? How dare you say such unreasonable words?" Geng Guanyu naturally would not wait for action to speak, and said his identity obediently, so he said indifferently, "Let everyone disperse." Although the imperial envoy was unwilling, this was his birthday. He finally celebrated it with great fanfare, but Geng Guanyu said it was dispersed. Who does he think he is? Just when he was about to get angry, his uncle compromised and nodded in response. Okay, let's go." The imperial envoy really felt unbelievable. He didn't understand what was going on with his uncle today. Usually, he spoiled himself, but today he actually compromised with Geng Guanyu. Could it be that Geng Guanyu was actually an official of the court, and his official position was above his uncle? In his impression, there was no one more powerful than him. Because he was the Minister of Justice, many people would take the initiative to please his uncle, and if they needed help, they would find ways to get close to him. So in his cognition, his uncle knew that kind of powerful people, and everyone wanted to know him. So he really couldn't think of what kind of person Geng Guanyu was, and he was even more powerful than him. Although he also knew that there were more powerful people above him, he didn't think those people would come to his territory and meddle in his business. However, seeing that his uncle's face was not very good, he could only obediently disperse these people. When only a few of them were left at the scene, Zeng Guanyu did not hesitate at all, and knelt down with a plop, and kowtowed several times. King K was even more dumbfounded. He didn't know whether he should continue to stand or follow him to the field to kneel down and kowtow. It was impossible for him to kowtow to someone he didn't like. What's more, he had already found out that his successive failures were all related to Geng Guanyu and others. The reason why he was condemned by the people was entirely their responsibility. Facing his enemies, how could he make such a compromise? "Uncle, what's going on? Who are these 2 people?" Rui Ziying looked at the imperial envoy indifferently. She didn't expect this man to be so stupid. It seemed that his position as an imperial envoy was directly related to his uncle. If it weren't for his uncle's support, he would not be able to become an imperial envoy, and it would be a problem for him to even get an official position. The Minister of Justice roared, "Kneel down. Do you want to kill me?" Even if the imperial envoy was unwilling, he still felt a little wronged by his uncle's coaxing, but his legs softened and he knelt down obediently. After all, they dared not compete with their uncle. He was able to have what he had today entirely because of his uncle. His mother often told him to do things according to his uncle's wishes no matter what, and never do anything pleasing. He was able to sleep peacefully and do so many extraordinary things all these years, all because of his uncle. If it weren't for his uncle helping him to get through the relationship, I'm afraid he would have been exposed the moment he exposed the matter. Now, although many people know his hobby, no one has troubled him. This matter is even more busy and has never been noticed by the emperor. But facing Geng Guanyu and Rui Ziying, he felt very scared, because he could never guess the other party's identity, and even more so, He couldn't guess why his uncle was so polite to them. Then he heard the Minister of Justice tremblingly say, "Your Highness, Li Daiyu pays respects to the Emperor and the Empress. Long live the Emperor, and 1,000 years live the Empress." After hearing his uncle's words, the imperial envoy was so frightened that he was completely stunned and didn't know how to react. He originally thought that people with higher official positions than his uncle would definitely not come to such a small place, but he never expected that the two people who came were actually the Emperor and the Empress. How could two people like them who have been in high positions for a long time come to a small place like his to meddle in his affairs? His first thought was that Yu Qing had caused trouble for him again. He must have found a way to send a letter to the Emperor. If not, how could the Emperor pay attention to what was happening here? So he was so angry about it that he was ready to find Yu Qing after this matter was resolved, and to settle the score with him. However, he ignored the consequences of offending the Emperor. Whether he could live to see the sun tomorrow was a serious problem, let alone seeking revenge on Yu Qing. Geng Guanyu said, "I didn't even think about it." The Ministry of Justice wrote a letter. "Since you took up your official position to give your nephew such a special treatment, and let him do evil here for such a long time." Chapter 227. A momentary mistake makes a world of difference. From this short sentence, the Minister of Justice has already felt Geng Guanyu's anger, and it is not difficult to see that he is indeed very angry now. The Minister of Justice was unable to utter a word. He could only lower his head and said, "Your Majesty, please spare my life." Then he felt that this was not appropriate, and added with a strong desire to survive, "I would never dare to do that. I didn't know that this bastard dared to do such a thing. I originally thought that he was just a little naughty. Who could have thought that he was so bold that he even did things that I dare not do? Please spare my life, Your Majesty. I will definitely settle this account with this kid and will never let him off easily. Please calm down and don't get angry. If Your Majesty gets sick from anger, even if my whole family is beheaded, I can't afford it." Geng Guanyu sneered and said, "In that case, I will kill all 9 clans of your clan to ease the hatred in my heart." The Minister of Justice's eyes went dark, and the whole person fainted gorgeously. The imperial envoy was also frightened. His only backer had fallen down, and it seemed redundant for him to continue sitting there. For a moment, he didn't know whether he should faint with his uncle. If he fainted, it would be fine. But if he didn't, then he would be the recipient of Geng Guanyu's anger. This is the Emperor. He had thought of countless possibilities of meeting the Emperor before. Of course, he thought the most likely possibility was that he would be promoted. After all, he had a good uncle to rely on. However, it seems a little unlikely now, and his uncle has been dragged down. It can be seen that this matter is not that simple to scare his uncle like this. "Your Majesty, spare my life, Your Majesty, spare my life." The imperial envoy kowtowed like crazy, and then Geng Guanyu looked indifferent all the time, looking at him coldly, sneering and saying, "You asked me to spare my life, how dare you say it? Did those girls ask you to spare their lives before, but did you spare their lives?" The imperial envoy trembled all over. Seeing Geng Guanyu's words so confidently, it seemed that he already had enough evidence in his hands to prove the dirty things he had done before. In the past, he thought that he was not afraid of these things at all and hid in the upper level. After all, he had a very reliable uncle, but now the person standing in front of him was the Emperor. How could he not be afraid? He said why the people above suddenly put pressure on him. If he hadn't tried to please them in every way, he would have been defeated by the people above. It was not easy for him to wait until his uncle came. He thought that the person who supported him had come, and those who put pressure on him would be more honest. He never expected that such a big Buddha would come. He really wanted to cry but had no tears now. He didn't know why he was so unlucky. He was fine before and thought that he could get a lot of beauties on his birthday this time, but he never expected that he had changed in the blink of an eye. Now he just wants to live well in this world. As for beauties, he has completely seen through them. What is more important than keeping the Green Mountains? Rui Ziying's attitude towards him was also very cold. If I'm not mistaken, Yu Qing also said the same thing to you, but did you spare him and his sister? This time you found an excuse to arrest him. Don't forget that he is an official appointed by the court. Have you never told him what the consequences are of acting against an official appointed by the court? As the Minister of Justice, he should know more about criminal law than anyone else, but he allowed you to break the law and do such a dirty thing. Now it is understandable that you are punished by all your 9 clans. Don't blame others, this is entirely your own fault. The imperial envoy still looked unconvinced. and then he did not dare to say anything to refute. After all, he had no right to compete with Rui Ziying, even though they were in their own territory now. He was at least a local emperor here, but who could compete with a real emperor? This would be punishable by beheading. Rui Ziying kicked him hard. Weren't you very arrogant when you bullied Yu Qing? Why are you so arrogant in front of us now? If you have the guts, use the classroom where you bullied Yu Qing to death to deal with us. I want to see what you can do to continue being arrogant in front of us, you useless jerk who bullies the weak and fears the strong. This sentence was too provocative. However, at this moment, no matter how excessive Rui Ziying's words were, the imperial envoy did not dare to refute them. This was a fear from the inside out. They were subservient to the emperor, so naturally they were afraid of the emperor, especially when they made mistakes. Queen, please spare me. I won't dare to do it again. I know I was wrong. I can let Yu Qing fight back on his own. Rui Ziying knew what he was thinking. Are you betting that Yu Qing won't do anything to you, right? After all, he is such a kind man. Even if he hits you, so what? You will still be unharmed and will recover in about half a month. But you have touched the emperor's bottom line. You are just playing on the emperor's bottom line. Do you understand? Geng Guanyu ordered coldly. Come here, drag him out and behead him. The imperial envoy was so scared that he stood there in a daze, completely forgetting to resist. Naturally, he was implicated in the petition from the Ministry of Justice who was lying next to him, but because the petition from the Ministry of Justice was an official of the court, he could not be easily touched and had to return to the capital to be punished. However, the day after the imperial envoy was beheaded, the Minister of Justice was also escorted back to the capital, and it was completely in the form of escorting a prisoner, for fear that he would accidentally lose his head, which was also a shame for a Minister of Justice. When he was escorted to the capital, he had to accept so many strange looks from people, which was something that no one could tolerate, especially for someone who used to be in a high position. It would be more uncomfortable for him than to die, and he was also implicated by his nephew. He used to be so glamorous, but he ended up like this because of a momentary mistake. It was really sad. After the people in the capital knew why he was arrested by the emperor, although they sympathized with him, they were more ridiculed. Especially those who had been ridiculed by him before, now they added insult to injury and said all the unpleasant words. Chapter 228 The Ideal Husband. This also had a certain impact on his family, but what he brought with him was the final judgment. When the emperor returned to Beijing, the first thing he did was to kill his entire family, and no one would be spared. Before Geng Guanyu went back, death was waiting for him, and he knew this himself, so every day was very tormenting. After solving the problem of the imperial envoy, someone soon replaced him. That person was Yu Pei, and no one was more suitable for this position than him. Wang Yuan was too impulsive by nature and was not suitable for this position. If he was allowed to do it, he might have to ask others for their opinions on handling cases, so he needed to hone his skills in this position for another 2 years. Geng Guanyu promised that he would definitely raise it in 2 years, and Yu Pei was just a training this time. After 2 years, they would all go to the capital to take up their posts. This was something they had never dared to think about before, and now staying in this place was just to accumulate experience. As for Yu Qing, he had only been in this position for a few months, so he would be given another 2 years to train. Make more contributions to the people. After waiting for 2 years, he went to the capital with the other 2 people to take up their posts. It is estimated that 2 years will be a deadline. Geng Guanyu will replace all those who have disloyalty in the court. He is just looking for those reliable people now. Only those with pure and kind nature can bring a better life to the people. For those who are greedy, let them spend their time in prison, or go to hell directly. In short, Geng Guanyu will never let such people die easily. Yu Qing was grateful, but because he was injured, he could only lie in bed. Geng Guanyu had asked people to help him improve the environment and gave him a mansion. Although it was left by Yu Pei, because he had done it in the house where the imperial envoy originally lived, this house naturally came into being, so it was just given to Yu Qing. Rui Ziying said, "It will take some time to build a new house, so you can only live in this place temporarily. You are an official of the court, and the emperor will definitely not let you down." Yu Qing said indifferently, "Why don't you tell the emperor that you don't need to build it? It feels good to live in the current place. Besides, it costs a certain amount of money to build a new house. How can the national treasury have so much money to squander on someone like me? Besides, I will only live here for 2 years. After 2 years, I will go to the capital to take up my post. If there is a chance to see you again in the future, I will definitely treat you to a good meal. Thank you for this, Geng Guanyu smiled and said, there will definitely be a chance to see you again in the future. After all, we often see each other in such a small place. We are all officials of the court. How could we not meet? Yu Qing thought it made sense. It's a pity that I am short of money now, and I can't afford to treat you to a good meal. It's okay. You can treat us to a meal when you have the conditions. We are not in a hurry. What's more, the Emperor sent us here, and it's not just your place. We have more places to rescue more people. So we won't stay here for too long. We will leave tomorrow. Is it so urgent? Yu Qing originally thought that they could stay here for a few more days, so that he could do his best to be a good host, but now it seems that it is not possible. If you are in such a hurry, even if I want to come to the landlord's place, I'm afraid I don't have the time. I can only ask my sister to cook a few more dishes in the evening. I'm afraid I can't cook a good meal for you personally because of my health now. I can only trouble my sister, Rui Ziying said directly. Let me do it. Didn't you taste my cooking last time? My cooking skills are so good that they can't be wasted. I finally have a chance to show my skills. I will borrow the kitchen in your house. If you think this place is suitable, then you can live here first. When we return to the capital, we will talk to the Emperor to build a new house for you. When you arrive in the capital, you will have a place to live, then I will be very grateful. After thanking you, Yu Qing didn't say anything rude. After all, he had been with them for such a long time, and he knew the personalities clearly in his heart. They were not the kind of people who would care about such trivial matters. So he had no objection to Rui Ziying's suggestion to cook by herself. Man Xiaosi and Nanan went to help in the kitchen. Rui Ziying was not polite to them. If there was anything they needed to do, she would just hand it over to them. In other words, they would do everything properly. She didn't need to worry about anything. Rui Ziying said, Nanan, when you and your brother go to Beijing in 2 years, you must come to play with me often. We are often together. We will be much happier with you. We can cook together, chat and eat together. I feel free just thinking about that kind of life. Don't believe that your brother has any difference in status. We are all the same. What's more, we have a lot of topics to talk about when we are together. Isn't it good to be lively? When you reach the right age, I will let someone choose a suitable man for you to marry. It's better to live a happy life than to live in this poor and remote place. Nanan was still young after all. After hearing what Rui Ziying said, she blushed. Man Xiaosi said, Sister, isn't it too early to talk about this topic now? I haven't gotten married yet. Why is she in such a hurry? Sister, why don't you choose a suitable husband for me first? Rui Ziying smiled. Have you chosen your ideal man? In fact, we have been together for such a long time. If you really get married, I will be reluctant to let you go. The reason I didn't mention this matter this time is because I am afraid that after you get married, there will be no one to chat with me casually. That's true. I'm used to it. I have been with sister, and the next person will have to serve their family. Don't mention how uncomfortable it is. I don't want to get married. Sister, will you mind if I stay with you for the rest of my life? Chapter 229. It's not that I won't grow up. Then I really want it, but I can't delay you after all, so if you should get married, you still have to get married. I can't ruin your life because of me. The better our relationship is, the more I am willing to think about you, so I will never ruin you. Therefore, you must get married early, and don't marry too far away. I'm afraid I will miss you in the future and won't be able to visit you in time. Man Xiaosi smiled, but didn't take Rui Ziying's words seriously. She and Rui Ziying had the same idea before, thinking about marrying an honest man and spending the rest of their lives in peace. But now he can't change his mind. He feels that no matter who he marries, he can't be stable. He is the happiest and freest when he is alone. Nanan also said, then I will join you in the future. We can all take care of each other, and we can support each other in case of such trouble. If it doesn't work, I still have my brother. My brother will never stand idly by and watch my affairs. He will do his best to protect me. Rui Ziying reached out and touched her head, and said gently, your brother is indeed a very good brother. He is very responsible for you. He raised you so big and protected you very well. Even if he suffered a lot of grievances, the first person he thought of was still you. So when you grow up, I don't care whether you get married or not, you have to respect your brother well. Nanan suddenly blinked. Sisters, I think there is a good way to keep us together forever. Manziosi asked, "What is it? Why don't you be my sister-in-law?" Sister Ziosi, okay, she is not a fool. Although she can see that Rui Ziying and Geng Guanyu are a couple, she dare not make this joke. She can only find the single Manziosi. Manziosi suddenly became shy. Yu Qing was indeed a very good candidate. Teacher Ren was also gentle. The most important point was that her status was not bad either. Now that she had been appreciated by the emperor, her future prospects would not be too bad. But she really had no such plan for the time being. Rui Ziying saw her reaction and understood what she was thinking. She said directly, "I think this is a good idea. In this case, let me decide on your marriage. When your brother moves to the capital in 2 years, I will ask the emperor to grant you a marriage. When your brother gets married and has a career, it will be a good thing. It just so happens that you, Ziosi, haven't thought about getting married yet. When Yu Qing moves to the capital, 2 years will have passed. Maybe you will have changed your mind by then. It's better to settle this matter first. If it's not appropriate, we can talk about it later." Manziosi bit her lip and suddenly stopped talking. After 19 seconds, she managed to say, "Since you, sister, have said yes, then you decide. Nanan should be the happiest person." She quickly ran out and told her brother about this matter. Yu Qing didn't want to delay your girl. After hearing what her sister said, she thought she was talking nonsense and immediately scolded her. "What nonsense are you talking about? With my current status, how can I be worthy of the girl? Don't talk nonsense. Do you hear me?" Nanan said aggrievedly, "But I'm not talking nonsense. Every word I said is serious." These are what Sister Rui said. She also said that after her brother moved to the capital, she would ask the emperor to grant a marriage. After hearing these words, Geng Guanyu knew that it was really Rui Ziying who said it, because only she could say such arrogant words, and since she could say these words, it can only prove that Manziosi has no objection to this. Although she is his concubine, this is also the wishful thinking of the Queen Mother. He and Manziosi have no feelings for each other, and even now they have reached the stage of disliking each other. There was no point in staying in the palace any longer, so it would be better to do as Rui Ziying said, after the Qing dynasty moved to the capital, to arrange a serious illness for the imperial concubine, secretly send her out of the palace, and then arrange a new identity for her. Although this was a bit against the rules, he had done everything for Rui Ziying, and this was not a big problem for him. Since Miss Ziosi has no objection, isn't it a bit too embarrassing for a grown man to make such a big fuss? Isn't it enough that the girl is willing? You are the one who took advantage of her, but you still look wronged, Yu Qing said hurriedly. No, it's just that how can I be worthy of the girl? I have become like this now. If I marry the girl, wouldn't it be unfair to her? Geng Guanyu said. Didn't the girl say that you will arrange your marriage after you move to the capital? It's too early for you to think about these things now. Wait until you move to the capital in 2 years. Yu Qing finally felt relieved after hearing what Geng Guanyu said. He would indeed have a chance for promotion in 2 years, but it was hard to say what position he would be in by then. But at least it would be much better than the current situation, and Manziosi would not be too wronged. In that case, then I'll follow your arrangements. After this matter was settled, it was considered a happy event. Rui Ziying specially prepared a large table of food to celebrate this matter. Mu Huanjun was not happy about this. Why are you all in pairs, and now I am the only one who is still single? This is too unfair to me. Now even Yu Qing has found someone to be with him, but I am still alone. Sister, are you a little biased? Rui Ziying's eyes immediately fell on Nanan. Almost everyone understood what Rui Ziying meant. Mu Huanjun said, "Isn't this too young?" Nanan argued unconvinced. "It's not like I won't grow up." Everyone couldn't help laughing after hearing this. Rui Ziying was just joking, but she didn't expect that she would really settle the matter between the two of them. It seems that lovers finally get married. Now there are 6 people in a group, which is not bad. When Rui Ziying and the others left, Nanan looked reluctant to leave. Because she was still young, she couldn't hold back her emotions and finally burst into tears. Rui Ziying felt a little distressed when she saw her like this. "Nanan, don't cry, we still have other things to do." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 230, Be sensible and do great things. It's not safe to take you with you, but I can promise that when we finish our business and return to the capital, we can take you with us and let you go back to the capital with us. After living there for 2 years, you can meet him after your brother moves to the capital. Nan hesitated. After all, she had never left her brother in her life. It was inappropriate for her to leave suddenly. She could only look at her brother and ask for his opinion. Yu Qing was a reasonable person and understood that Rui Ziying did this for the good of her sister, so she asked her sister politely. Do you want to go? If you want to go, I have no objection. It's just that this is your first time to go to an unfamiliar environment, and it's also your first time away from me. There may be many things you are not used to. You are still young, but you can't be stubborn in the future. After all, I am by your side, and no one will spoil you. I taught you to read and write before. I hope to ask Miss Rui to find a teacher for you after we get to the capital. Although you are a girl, I think learning to read is something everyone must do, so that you won't suffer too much in the future, Rui Ziying said. Don't worry about this. Since I have brought Nanan to my side, I will definitely give her the best treatment and will not let her suffer any grievances. She will have everything that others have. The rules over there are different from here. Nanan is still young. She should go there to learn the rules for 2 years in advance. After you move there, she will be able to talk fluently with the socialites there, and she won't be isolated by other girls. Yu Qing also understood that this was Rui Ziying's good intentions, so he agreed readily. Nanan, get ready. When Miss Rui and the others come back, you can go to the capital with them. It's only 2 years anyway. You can see your brother again after 2 years. It just so happens that your brother will be busy during these 2 years and won't be able to take care of you. Although Nanan was still reluctant to leave, she reluctantly agreed. Since her brother didn't say anything, it proved that this trip to the capital would not do her any harm. She was a sensible girl and could naturally understand her brother's good intentions. So after settling Nanan, Rui Ziying and the others set off for the next place. Mu Huanshan said, Sister, isn't your arrangement a little inappropriate? My future wish is to travel around the world, but now you have found a wife for me. Isn't this going to shatter my future dream? Rui Ziying rolled her eyes. Didn't you agree readily yesterday? Do you think it's too late to tell me this now? Things have been settled. If you are really dissatisfied, you should have told me on the spot. Besides, who told you that you can't travel around the world after you get married? You can still go back and do what you want to do. You won't stay single for your whole life, right? Nanan is still young. By the time she marries you, there will be at least 6 or 7 years. 6 or 7 years is enough for you to do a lot of things. It's also enough for you to see the ways of the world and be disappointed in them. I think wandering around the world alone is not as good as wandering around the world with 2 people. It's more romantic and freer. You can live wherever you go. Isn't it happier to feel like you are at home everywhere? Mu Huanshan argued. But I feel more happy when I am free from worries. No one can be truly free from worries. Even if you are far away from the capital and you are not sincere, aren't you still thinking about your master? What's more, if you two make money together, that's the real freedom from worries, okay? You don't have to worry about your lifelong affairs. You are enough to accompany your life. That person will stay by your side, and you can grow old with her. Mu Huanshan thought about it and felt that it was indeed the truth, so he didn't argue anymore. He just felt a little awkward in his heart. He got a wife inexplicably after going out. But after being preached by Rui Ziying, he felt that this didn't seem to be a bad arrangement. He was much more accepting of it, so he didn't make a fuss anymore. The official in the third place was a corrupt official. It is said that he would collect more than 3 times more grain from the people every year, causing the people here to suffer terribly and live in poverty. Basically, they have never had a good life. Every time, they had to fight for more food. If they couldn't pay, they would be sent to the pig cage or their girls would be taken away as concubines. This kind of thing has been happening for 2 years. The people here have no harvest due to drought, but the officials are very unsympathetic to their difficulties and still ask them to take out the same amount of food, otherwise they will kill all their families. Under such strong oppression, some people thought about escaping from this place, but the officials of this place were afraid that their fingers would be exposed, so they would not let those who had the opportunity to escape and sent people to imprison them. And people from outside were not allowed to come in anymore. This place was like a huge ball for ordinary civilians. They would be locked up in this place and not allowed to have any contact with people outside, and naturally, People inside were not allowed to go out. After 2 years of living like this, there was still no one who could make decisions for them. This time, someone finally couldn't stand it anymore, and escaped by relying on his own kung fu, and reported the matter to the emperor. In addition, due to good luck, the letter finally fell into the hands of the emperor, so Geng Guanyu saw everything that happened here and understood how hard the people's lives were. This was also one of the reasons why he was going to come here to help with justice, because he really couldn't bear to watch his people happen to such a thing within his jurisdiction. This was simply a great shame for him. Soon they arrived at their destination. Because they had no way to meet the person who reported at this time, they could only find a place to stay temporarily and then slowly investigate. Chapter 231, Punishing Corrupt Officials. This inn is so shabby and old, are you sure it's habitable? Manziosi couldn't help but complain when she saw the environment inside the inn. The innkeeper happened to hear this, and the boss said helplessly, "We don't want it to be like this. We really don't have the conditions to make the inn's environment better. Although we make money every year, we don't make much. We can only maintain our basic needs." But, forget it, he clearly wanted to say something just now, and I was afraid that he would force it back when it came to his lips. It was obviously because the topic was not very auspicious, or he simply didn't dare to say it. Rui Ziying saw his concerns and stuffed a silver ingot into his pocket. "Boss, if you have anything to say, just tell us directly. We will never tell anyone what you say. We want to settle down here, so we want to know what your environment is like in a short time." After receiving the money, the boss hesitated. After all, the people here have clearly told him not to disclose the situation here to outsiders. If he tells the basic situation to others, he is not sure whether his store can continue to operate. The current life is very difficult. If he is suppressed by the people above, he really can't continue to live here. Girl, it's not that I don't want to tell you, but there are some things I really can't say. I hope you can understand me. As for the money, I won't talk about yours. You should leave as soon as possible after dinner. Try not to settle down here. It will not be of any benefit to you. This is the only advice I can give you. If you don't listen, I have no other way." After listening to the boss's words, Geng Guanyu seemed to be aroused by curiosity and wanted to know what the final answer was. Geng Guanyu said, "Boss, you can't say half of the words. We actually want to settle down in this place, which can only prove that we have made certain preparations. If you don't tell us the truth and don't tell us what's wrong with this place, then we will not give up this idea. We will ask other people. The shopkeeper is a good person after all. He is afraid that if they ask other people, they will ask those who have bad intentions. At that time, their lower body will definitely not be very good. If they are spotted by the people above, how can they lose their lives?" So after some hesitation, he still said, "There is an official in our place. He requires us to pay 3 times the tax every year, otherwise our family members will be arrested or killed. Moreover, the people in our place live a hard life. Basically, no one dares to waste. There are so many cool ladies on the streets here. Bargaining is a very common thing, but everyone's life is not easy. Everyone wants to make more money and spend less money. So as long as you understand each other, you will find that there are actually not so many quarrels at all. I don't know when they will pay attention to the situation here at night and take care of our affairs, because our place is not far from the palace, but it is very different from there." Rui Ziying pretended to understand nothing and asked in a confused manner, "In that case, why don't you move away from this place? Why don't you tell the people in Jincheng about this news? If the people over there take this matter into consideration, they will definitely find a way to make the decision for you." The boss shook his head helplessly and said with a wry smile, "Things are not as simple as you think. All of us here are restricted and cannot leave. We are afraid that all the things you did will be exposed and noticed by the people above. Do you think they can do it? Let us report this matter to the emperor. Outsiders have no way to get in, and I have no way to go out. Although I don't know if it's me, I still advise you to give up the idea of staying in the Yang family as soon as possible. My life as a local is already very difficult. What will life be like as an outsider? I just said this to you because I think you are good people. Otherwise, I would never say more." Rui Ziying said angrily, "I didn't expect that under the nose of the emperor, there would be someone who would do such a bold thing. If the emperor really knew about this, then they would definitely not be much better." The boss smiled helplessly. "We all understand the truth, but the problem is that no one dares to tell this matter. If the people above find out, I'm afraid we will be dead before they do anything. Girls, Just give up the idea of settling down here. You have to believe me. I am serious about every word I say. I won't lie to you. I will never dare to lie to you." Seeing the boss's serious look, Rui Ziying seemed to be persuaded. "How about we go to another place? It seems that this place is not as good as we imagined," Geng Guanyu said. "These people are really too much. We can't let them continue to get away with it. Don't they want us outsiders to come? Then we have to come, and we have to take care of these things." The boss shook his head helplessly. Knowing that he couldn't persuade them, he could only give up. "That's all I have to say. If you don't listen, then I can't do anything about it. You can take care of yourself. You can live here as you like. The money is enough. I don't ask for anything now, I just hope you can leave here safely." "Oh, what a sin, what a thing is this? I thought I could persuade you to leave, but you insisted even more." The boss shook his head and left. Rui Ziying and the others went back to the room to clean up. After making sure that people could lie there, they gathered together to discuss countermeasures. The people here have such a hard life. It seems that they have been oppressed for a long time. And have you noticed? There are really few people on the street. Even though no one stopped us when we came in, I always felt like someone was following us. Could it be that what we do is always under the surveillance of others? What if we do something and are discovered by the other party in advance? I felt it too. Someone is indeed watching us. I sneaked out alone at night to take a look. Chapter 232. Someone is watching them. This is the best way at present. If someone is really watching their every move, then among the four of them, only Geng Guanyu can slip out quietly. The other three people do not have this ability. It seems that they have just escaped from the tiger's den and entered the wolf's den. They have just arrived at this place and have been targeted. If nothing unexpected happens, the people around them have noticed their actions and are suspicious of them. They will investigate their identities. Even if Geng Guanyu conceals it well, it is estimated that there will be some flaws. Fortunately, Geng Guanyu has already informed the superiors in advance that they should be assigned an ordinary identity, which must not attract the attention of the superiors. So if nothing unexpected happens, the person's final investigation will not be able to investigate Geng Guanyu and their true identities, but only to investigate the fake identity arranged for them. Mu Huanshan felt that he was particularly hard along the way. When he waited until the next day, he understood the reason for his hard work. As a doctor, he didn't even know that his students were sick. It was not until he had a high fever the next day that he realized that he was really sick. He smiled bitterly and said, "I never thought that as a doctor, I would get sick." Rui Ziying smiled and teased, "You just don't want to admit that your medical skills can't cure you. As the saying goes, a doctor cannot cure himself. In fact, this is the most normal situation for you. Because it is your own body, you often have certain deviations, and because you are a doctor, you don't admit that there is a problem with your medical skills, and you are unwilling to admit that you can't even see that you are sick." Mu Huanshan admitted that what Rui Ziying said was indeed true, but on the surface he still said stubbornly, "I always feel that my medical skills are very strong, and no one can be my opponent. Even if there are people better than people, there are heavens better than heavens. I know this very well, but in my heart I always think that my art is excellent. Even my master says that I am very talented in this area. It wasn't until today when I fell ill that I realized that a doctor really can't cure himself. It looks like you have to find a doctor for me, sister." Rui Ziying nodded and handed the matter to Geng Guanyu. It was not difficult to find a doctor in this place. At least Geng Guanyu only spent an incense stick of time to find an old doctor who looked very old. However, he looked skinny and malnourished. Rui Ziying finally understood why Geng Guanyu asked this doctor to come. He probably wanted to ask him something. "Doctor, why do you look so frail to me? Are you sure you are in good enough physical condition to treat others?" Perhaps because his medical skills were questioned by others, the doctor quickly became angry and said angrily, "My physical condition is indeed a little worse now, but this does not affect my treatment of others. I have been practicing medicine for so many years and my medical skills are absolutely fine. Even if you look around here, I guarantee that you won't find a better doctor than me." After he said this, Rui Ziying seemed to finally believe that his medical skills were reliable, but she was still a little puzzled about his body. "But doctor, if you really have no problem, your body is so bad, why don't you take good care of yourself? Aren't you a doctor? You should be able to treat yourself, right?" The doctor sighed helplessly. "There is nothing wrong with my body, I just can't think of anything. Our place is too hard, and we can't eat much at home, So my body looks frail, Rui Ziying said doubtfully. Logically speaking, as doctors, neighbors of you should have at least 2 sick people, so you should all be living similar lives, right? Even if other people's lives are not very good, you as representatives can still live a very comfortable life, the doctor sneered and said. I can see that you are from the outsider department. We have to follow the rules here, but there is a question I've wanted to ask you since just now. No one is allowed to go out or come in our place, so how did you get here? Rui Ziying said without hesitation. Someone sent us in. We wanted to settle down here, so we made a special effort to find a connection. We just didn't expect that our friends couldn't adapt to the climate and soil here, and they got sick not long after arriving here. The doctor examined Mu Huanshan's body, wrote a simple prescription, and then said, it is indeed caused by the unfamiliar climate and soil. It's not a big problem. You will be fine after 2 days of rest. Take the medicine according to this prescription. It's not a good idea to settle down in this place. I advise you to leave as soon as possible. If you become local residents, it's no surprise that you won't want to leave this place again. Manziosi didn't understand. Why can't we get out? Our legs are on our bodies. Can they cut off our legs? The doctor seemed to think that their ideas were a bit too naive and shook his head helplessly. Although they won't break your legs, they can stop you from going out. Even if you sneak out, you have to consider your family. If you are alone, you can indeed escape from this place, but it will be difficult to be caught back. Rui Ziying was a little flustered. It seems that the desire to settle down in this place is a bit unrealistic. We still have to leave this place as soon as possible. I believe that, doctor, you will not harm us. The reason you said that must be that life here is really not as good as we imagined. I thought the reputation of this place was not bad. Your family would have a good idea in this place, but I didn't expect it to be a wolf's den. Thank you for telling me. If you hadn't told us this, we would have decided to look for a house by now. If we really can't get out after entering this place, we will be completely cut off from their families. The doctor saw that they were so sensible, and he spoke more unconsciously, and continued, it's great that you are willing to listen to my advice, so leave early. Chapter 233 The Man in the Dark. I can assure you that everything I said is true, and there is no need for me to lie to you. This is indeed the truth. He has no need to lie to them, so everything he said is true. Rui Ziying naturally knows that this is true, but didn't they come here for this matter? So how could they leave so easily just because of someone else's advice? Would that be equivalent to giving up on things here? The people here will continue to live in poverty, which they cannot accept. Thank you, doctor. Don't you think that no one is in charge of your affairs? The emperor won't just sit there and watch. The doctor shook his head helplessly. Things here have been blocked, and it is impossible for them to be passed on to the emperor. What's more, the emperor is very busy. Do you really think he can take care of things here? First of all, I heard that the country was at war and the enemy came to invade. At that time, there were many young people here who wanted to rush out to serve the country, but because the things here were not suitable for exposure, they were stopped by the officials above. Some people tried to reason with them, but blood splattered on the spot, which frightened many young people. Even if they had that idea, they could only give up the idea in dismay, because those beasts were not human at all. Geng Guanyu was very angry when he heard this. Although he had long accepted the fact that people here did not lie very well, when Xingu heard them talk about it, he still felt it was so cruel. He originally thought that he was cruel enough, but he didn't expect that his men were more excessive and less human than each other. He did what he wanted before, but since he met Rui Ziying, he knew what was right and what was wrong. He had made clear his goal and wanted to be a wise ruler. But now, the biggest problem was to reorganize his subordinates. Sure enough, being a wise ruler was not as easy as imagined. These people are really too much. Don't worry, I am about to leave. We will never fall into their clutches. We will leave after our friend is well. He almost let it slip. Fortunately, the doctor was old and a little hard of hearing. He didn't hear clearly what he wanted to say just now. After hearing his random explanation, he naturally accepted his new statement. Leave early. Sometimes it doesn't do you any good. Your friend's illness is not a big problem. He will be well after 2 days of rest. I should leave too. When the doctor left, the 4 people gathered together again to discuss the matter. We have already understood most of the situation here, but I still don't quite understand. Since this place is closed, why can we get in so smoothly? Is this a trap, or is someone helping us silently? The 4 people were puzzled about this question. and then when they fell asleep in the middle of the night, they suddenly got the answer, because in the middle of the night someone sent them a letter with a sword. The content was simple, just telling them that he was the one who let them in. As for the purpose of their coming in, it was of course to let them solve specific problems, but because of his special identity, he could not meet with them, so he chose this way to apologize to them. Rui Ziying and the others were already half asleep, but after seeing the content of the letter, everyone woke up. So the person who has been watching us secretly is actually him? I thought it was the official's man. Now it seems that things are much simpler. At least we know that the person who is following us in secret is not a bad guy, but someone who stands on the same front with us. This may be a good thing. We don't have to worry all day long. Let's go out and investigate the situation tomorrow. Geng Guanyu looked at the time. It was already midnight. The number of people at this time was small, which was the right time for him to act, so he said hello to Rui Ziying and the others, and then sneaked out. The other three people continued to go back to their respective rooms to sleep. If nothing unexpected happens, Maizu should be back before dawn tomorrow, and with his skills, Rui Ziying and the others have nothing to worry about. At least there is no problem in returning safely. At most, they will be discovered by others. It was not yet dawn when Geng Guanyu came back the next day. Rui Ziying was awakened when he entered the room. Maybe because she was in a foreign country, Rui Ziying didn't sleep very deeply. When she heard the movement, she woke up immediately. Seeing that the person who came back was Geng Guanyu, she felt relieved. What happened? Geng Guanyu said, maybe it's because this place has been under their management for a long time, they are particularly relaxed. There are not even 1 or 2 secret guards around them. Rui Ziying seemed to understand what Geng Guanyu meant. You mean, if you kill him, you can easily succeed? Geng Guanyu nodded. That's indeed the truth, but I don't dare to challenge their bottom line at all. When I went out to observe the situation today, although I didn't see any extra people, it doesn't mean that I can easily succeed, and I won't use such a method. Since they are officials of the court, I naturally have to use the court's means to deal with them. Maybe you understand what Geng Guanyu's bottom line is? If he was just an ordinary person who was chivalrous and righteous, he would definitely kill the official now. But Geng Guanyu is now the emperor, so naturally he has to use his emperor's means to deal with this matter. So many things have happened under your nose, you must feel very uncomfortable, right? Geng Guanyu nodded. It is indeed very uncomfortable. Before leaving the palace, although I realized that there might be big problems with my management, I never thought that there would be such big problems. The people here actually live like this, and I didn't even notice it before. But this time, since I have left the palace, I will definitely not stand idly by and watch these things. I will manage them to the end. Chapter 234 Identity Exposed. Give the people a fair life. By the next morning, Rui Ziying had already made a perfect plan in her mind, ready to deal with the local officials. But the next day, before Rui Ziying and her friends had time to take action, a group of officials broke into the inn, kicked open the door of the room where Rui Ziying and her friends were accurately and roughly, and arrested all 4 of them. Rui Ziying and the others shouted in dissatisfaction. What do you want to do? The leading official said. We do not allow outsiders to come here. Outsiders must report to us in advance, and you, a group of outsiders, have not gone through any reporting and have stayed here privately. This is a violation of the rules here, so we are arresting you according to the law. According to the law? What kind of law are you following? Geng Guanyu seemed to be amused by their words. There is no law in our country that does not allow outsiders to go to another place. This is a real violation of the law. If the emperor knew about this, do you know how he would punish you? The man was very disdainful of this and said arrogantly, Are you the emperor? Why don't you tell us how the emperor will punish us? He was obviously fearless and knew that the emperor had no control over this, so he dared to be so arrogant, but he certainly could not have imagined that the person standing in front of him was really the current emperor. If he knew this, even if you had 10 times the courage, he would not dare to do such a rude thing, let alone say such an arrogant thing. Manzai was also very angry. They had been to so many places together, and they had never encountered such a thing. This person had no evidence, but dared to easily arrest all of them. He was so arrogant. What right do you have to arrest us so easily? Are you so sure that there is no one around us? Do you know who sent us here? The man didn't take your words seriously at all, and continued to say nonchalantly, No matter who sent you here, you have fallen into our territory now. It is natural that our people said to arrest you, So we have to arrest you. This is the order of our master. Even if you are not satisfied, you can wait until you go to the court to tell our master, no matter how much you talk to me here, I will not take your words seriously, because we are just doing things according to the orders of the masters. If you really have any grievances, you can tell our masters, don't make things too difficult for us. Our mission is to capture you. If you run away, we will not be able to report to the task. With their personalities, they will definitely kill us easily. So I beg you, don't argue with me anymore. When Rui Ziying heard him say this, at least someone was going to continue to talk nonsense with him. Anyway, even if they talked too much to him, he couldn't make the decision. They wanted to see who the powerful person was who said he would arrest them. He had such courage that he could throw aside what was said on the internet and not take it seriously at all. Could it be that he also had an official in the court as a backer, like the imperial envoy last time? While waiting for them to meet that adult, Geng Guanyu suddenly understood the reason why this adult was so rampant. He was originally a person in the court, and was later demoted to this place because of his mistakes. I didn't expect that after he was demoted, he still didn't restrain himself and became more rampant. He dared to do such a conscienceless thing. And the adult also successfully recognized Geng Guanyu without any surprise. After all, who can't remember the face of the current emperor? The moment he saw Geng Guanyu, he knelt on the wall with a plop. He originally thought that the court of Zisa had only sent 2 small officials to investigate the situation and arrest the developers. They would just make up a random crime and kill them. Geng Guanyu would not pay much attention to the things here. He never expected that the current emperor would come to such a small place in person. Thinking back to when he was demoted, Geng Guanyu was ruthless. No matter how he pleaded, Geng Guanyu was always worse than the end. But now that the other party fell into his hands, he was not rampant at all. Because the person in front of him had the right to take his life easily. If he dared to harm the current emperor, he would not be able to live even if he had 9 lives. Your Majesty, I pay my respects to you. After hearing the words of their own masters, the rest of the people also knelt on the ground, realizing the seriousness of the matter. Although they did not understand why the emperor would ignore their poor and remote place, and their masters said so, then the person in front of them could definitely not be fake. Your Highness, Geng Guanyu sneered and said, you are so bold and reckless. Don't you think there is no law in your eyes? You are standing here at a certain distance from the usual place, and you think I can't control this color? You actually did such a dirty thing under my nose. The official lowered his head in embarrassment, not daring to say a word, for fear that he would accidentally anger Geng Guanyu and then easily take his life. Geng Guanyu continued to find the anger in his heart. He really couldn't swallow this bad breath. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. Why are the people under him more daring than each other, and the things they do are more unreasonable than each other? Don't they really take me seriously? Although he has not been the emperor for a long time, because of his atrocities, many people are indeed dissatisfied with him, but it doesn't make sense that these officials who run ships will also be dissatisfied with him. Where do they get this right? I came all the way here for your matter, but I was caught by your people for no apparent reason. I originally thought that you would not dare to do such a shameless thing under my nose, but now it seems that I underestimated you. It was not enough that you were demoted, but you dared to act like a local tyrant in your own territory. In this case, there is no need to keep your dog head. Just chop it off so that it won't be an eyesore. Chapter 235 Dispatching Funds. After hearing what Geng Guanyu said, the official was so scared that his back went cold and his whole body trembled. He was sure that Geng Guanyu's words were not false and were absolutely serious. Geng Guanyu showed mercy last time, but this time he would never be soft-hearted again, because he had touched the other party's bottom line. Perhaps his real questions had been waiting for a long time, so when he was taken away, he did not struggle at all, and his calmness shocked everyone present. After the official was beheaded, everyone was very panicked. Usually, they followed this official to do many evil things. Now their boss has been beheaded. The result waiting for them will definitely not be good. Basically everyone was waiting for their own judgment in a hurry. Finally, Geng Guanyu sat in the position that originally belonged to the official, and then said, you have followed him to do evil for such a long time, and you have so many lives in your hands. I will not let you go easily. Behead them all. Just now, those few words were like the god of death, taking their lives easily, and determining their life and death. Some people did not want to die and had to spare their lives, but Geng Guanyu looked indifferent and was not affected by their shouts at all. Things here are the fastest to complete since they came out. This official has no ability, but he is very greedy. If he reforms well here, he will have a chance to return to Jincheng in the future, but since he did not choose to do so, he chose to oppress the residents here and keep accumulating money for himself, thinking about using it to escape in the future. This is a wrong choice in itself. He saved the silver for so long, but it was not used in the end, and was discovered by Geng Guanyu, which was also his fate. All the property of the official was confiscated and put into the treasury. Geng Guanyu also took out half of it and distributed it to the people here to improve their lives. They have been oppressed for these years. It is really too cruel. Life is miserable. Many people have starved to death. Therefore, this money is simply a life-saving straw for them. When Chengdake opened, all the people rushed out, looking forward to freedom. It can be said that if Geng Guanyu had not taken out half of the silver to help them, at the moment the city gate opened, there must be many people looking forward to moving away from this place. But because the emperor has noticed the things here, the residents are willing to believe in the emperor's ability and are willing to believe that the emperor will protect them, so there are not many people who leave. Rui Ziying and others did not stay in this place for too long. They left in a hurry the next day. They only had 1 month. 10 days had passed in a blink of an eye. If they continued to stay here, they would go to fewer places. They believed that there must be more places that needed their help, so they hurried on their way and soon arrived at the 4th place. This place has nothing to do with the officials, but it has suffered from drought, which can be said to be a natural disaster. Moreover, the officials in this place are good officials. They will ensure the basic needs of the missing people on weekdays. However, because of the long-term rainless situation, the crops here have been harvested, and the lives of the people naturally cannot be guaranteed. Even if the officials have moved out their private vaults, they cannot guarantee the lives of so many people, so he applied for funds from the emperor. Geng Guanyu actually wanted to transfer a certain amount of funds, but when he thought that there was no speech here for years, there must be other reasons, so he planned to come here to take a look. When they arrived at the place, they realized how terrible the drought caused by the long-term rainless situation was. The ground had cracked many times. Because it had not rained for too long, the residents here were dry, and even a drop of water could not be seen in the well. As for what the officials here said, many people have handled this place, but there are still some old, weak, sick and disabled people who continue to stay here. To ensure their living needs, they must be provided with a meal every day, otherwise they can only watch them starve to death. The officials naturally couldn't bear to watch the residents in their jurisdiction starve to death, not to mention that there were so many innocent children. But he couldn't figure out why it hadn't rained here. Maybe it was because the officials were superstitious. He even invited people to come and pray for rain. The magician had done more than a dozen prayers, but it didn't work. Rui Ziying was also very confused. Why didn't it rain in this place? It happened that she saw a fish-seeking bomb in the mall. She immediately felt hopeful, but because she couldn't use it in front of so many people, she decided to find out the reason for the water shortage in this place first, and then let it rain. We can't just watch the drought here go on. The people have no harvest. How can their lives be guaranteed? Even if Geng Guanyu sent some funds from the treasury to make up for it, they could never guarantee their future lives. After all, there are so many people, so many mouths waiting to eat. How can they afford it without any labor? Even if there is no rain in your place all year round, other places should not be so safe, right? Is it possible that even the river is cut off? Joji said, because there is no rain all year round, even the reservoir is dry. There is really no way to continue to supply water here. As for the river, I have sent people to check it. There is no problem, but I don't know where the water has gone. Rui Ziying and the others decided to go to the upper reaches of the river first. Because of the long journey, Joji specially sent them a carriage, and they went all the way along the upper reaches of the river. Joji originally wanted to entertain Rui Ziying and the others, but when he thought of their current situation here, he gave up the idea. The people here are so hungry that they have to eat tree bark and soil. Rui Ziying and the others brought dry food with them, so naturally they would not bother him. Although Joji felt bad, there was nothing else he could do. He just hoped that this drought would end soon and improve the lives of the people. Fortunately, the emperor finally paid attention to their situation and sent people to deal with this matter. If they continued to delay, the consequences would be disastrous. Although no funds were sent, at least 4 people were sent. Chapter 236 Need help. These few people may not be many, but this at least proves that the court has not given up on them. This is good enough for them, and as for what the rest of the people think, they don't take it too seriously. After watching Rui Ziying and the others leave, he felt a little more comfortable. Rui Ziying's face was not very good sitting in the carriage. Rui Ziying also knew that things here were not so easy to solve. It's a pity that there is no better way now, so I can only be too lazy to take all these things. Things here have already affected too many people, not to mention that Geng Guanyu is the emperor now. Rui Ziying should help anyway. The maid next to her looked at Rui Ziying like this, and she felt a little distressed. After all, she was a queen who should enjoy the blessings in the palace. Now she is running outside every day, and the time in the palace is very little. Not to mention being fed with fine clothes and delicious food. It is very good to have food. Your Highness, you can actually leave these things to His Majesty. The maid looked at Rui Ziying and said these words. She didn't mean anything else, but she just hoped that Rui Ziying could have a good rest. After hearing what the maid said, Rui Ziying could naturally understand what he was thinking. If it were anyone else, they might not understand, but how could they not understand after being together for so long? He and I are husband and wife, how can I not help with anything? Although the world belongs to Geng Guanyu, since he is sitting in this position, the relationship between the two is so good. In any case, she will definitely handle these things better. In this way, at least Geng Guanyu can feel more relaxed. Maybe these are not enough, but there is only so much that can be done. After listening to Rui Ziying's words to this extent, although the maid still didn't quite understand, she didn't say anything more. They had a carriage, and the speed was still very fast. It only took a short time for them to reach the upper reaches of the river, but it had become extremely dry. After seeing such a scene, everyone present couldn't help but frown. It's not that they haven't seen dry rivers before, but this is the first time they have seen a riverbed that is cracked like this. This proves that this matter may not be simple, or there may be a bigger secret hidden in it. Rui Ziying was not hypocritical. After getting off the carriage, he began to observe some problems with the riverbed here. He originally thought that the riverbed here was like this because of the drought, but now it seems that it is not the case. Instead, it is more like after a long period of accumulation, the river suddenly dried up, and because of this reason, it caused the drought here. If it were someone else, they might not understand these, but Rui Ziying was different. Rui Ziying could see and understand that this must be because someone had done something. As for what kind of thing it was, it is unknown for the time being. If you want to know the secrets hidden in it, you still need to conduct a detailed investigation, which is not something that one person can accomplish. Although it seems that each of them needs to work hard, if you think about it carefully, you will know that these things are not simple. If you want to do all this well, of course you need to spend more effort. But no matter what, she will definitely handle these things better. In this way, Geng Guanyu will not be particularly anxious when he comes here, and they will feel more comfortable. After a detailed observation here, Rui Ziying did not leave immediately, but waited for Geng Guanyu to arrive. After waiting for a while, Geng Guanyu finally hurried over. The first time he saw Rui Ziying, he directly hugged her in his arms. You have worked really hard during this period. I know it is not easy for you, but I really can't do it. Even if he is an emperor, there are too many things in this world that he needs to do, and these are not things he can refuse if he wants to. Rui Ziying looked at him like this and patted his shoulder gently. I know you are very tired, and I can understand, so I have been trying to track it down these days. As long as there is a way, Rui Ziying will never bother Geng Guanyu with things that she can solve, which is better for them. And in this way, Geng Guanyu's burden can also become lighter. This is a phenomenon they all want to see. After all, if all things are handed over to one person, it is really too tiring. Let alone them, even if it were someone more powerful, there would be absolutely no way to accomplish all this. Now that everything has been said, should we think of more solutions at this time? Other things can be done, but the things in front of us cannot be changed at will. Hearing this, Rui Ziying shook her head helplessly. I'm afraid this matter will be very troublesome, and I suspect that someone has tampered with the river a long time ago. However, after a long period of cover-up, these traces have become negligible. Only after they find these clues can they solve the problem here. Geng Guanyu originally thought that the matter here was just a natural disaster. After all, there are so many officials below who are waiting for these things. Now hearing Geng Guanyu say this, He suddenly realized that things might not be as he imagined. This matter is not a natural disaster but a man-made disaster. If it is really like that, he really can't accept it. Don't worry about it now. I haven't thought about it yet. I'll tell you slowly after I've investigated it thoroughly. Rui Ziying's words were very clear, because this way, Geng Guanyu didn't have to be so nervous for the time being. Otherwise, they would definitely think more about this matter, and it would not be easy for them to figure out everything at that time. Seeing that Rui Ziying had said so much, Geng Guanyu didn't say anything more, but nodded gently. There was a little more heartache in his eyes when he looked at Rui Ziying. Who would need to do this for ordinary people? Only the woman next to him. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 237 Food Appreciation. I'm so sorry. It's because I didn't do enough, so you, Geng Guanyu blurted out his apology, but Rui Ziying just smiled after hearing it and didn't say much. There was no need for him to say such words. The most important thing now was to deal with all the things in front of him. Otherwise, no matter how much they talked, it would be useless. You have been here for so long. Have you found anything else or can I help you? Rui Ziying shook her head gently. The next thing was to do some tests. This is not something that can be done by one person. It can also be said that it requires the efforts of many people to be done well. Only in this way can they feel more comfortable. Otherwise, what can they do now? So Rui Ziying had almost no rest in the next few days, but prepared to complete all these things. Only in this way is it the best for them, and it can also make them feel more at ease. Geng Guanyu wanted to help, but he didn't understand what Rui Ziying wanted to do at all, so he could only give up this idea temporarily. Rui Ziying was left alone to do these things, and she could only watch from the side. After seeing all of this, Rui Ziying finally had an idea in her mind. It seems that my guess is correct. The river here has indeed been tampered with. Rui Ziying's face became unexpectedly ugly. He did not expect that the people here would be so bold. Normally speaking, such a thing would never happen, and the people below would not dare to do such things that were not at all elegant. But now that he looked at these traces, he knew that the people below did not seem to take it too seriously. Instead, they did all this in such a high-profile manner. This is enough to prove that these people have no fear in their hearts. When they were doing these things, they did not even think that one day all this would be discovered. What is going on? Geng Guanyu began to get a little anxious. He thought Rui Ziying would say it directly, but who knew that Rui Ziying talked for so long without saying the reason? You should know what is called alchemy and panning for sand? After Rui Ziying said this, Geng Guanyu's face suddenly became a little serious. How could he not know such a thing? It's just that the speed and efficiency are too slow, and it is also very easy to cause some rivers to dry up. Therefore, the court has expressly prohibited these things, but it never expected that people here really have such courage to do such a thing. Normally speaking, all this would not be possible. Since it has appeared now, it means that everything is different. As for where the problem is, he can't say it. As an emperor, he doesn't even know such a big thing. It can be seen that the people below are hiding so many things. It's useless to be angry now. Let's think of a way to solve all this. Rui Ziying looked at Geng Guanyu's anger, and in fact, she could understand it in her heart. If it were anyone else, they would be angry about these, let alone Geng Guanyu as the king of a country. I know I'm just angry. These people are so ruthless that they don't even leave any way out for these people. If they hadn't done something so extreme, perhaps what happened today wouldn't have happened at all. But these things not only happened, but also appeared in front of him. I think there must be a lot of people involved in this, and it has even involved a very large industrial chain. After all, this is a big project. It is almost impossible to hide it completely. The only explanation is that many people colluded to do it together. Only in this way can it explain why these people have not revealed any clues so far. The only explanation is that these people have already made various arrangements. Having said that, the rest of the people didn't say anything more, and Geng Guanyu could fully understand what Rui Ziying meant. If this is the case, then we have to be more careful in the investigation. These people are willing to do anything for money. Rui Ziying nodded in the same way, because he felt that this was the case. Although it was not said on the surface, It was actually not much different from this. If we want to investigate all this, I'm afraid it will take some more time. After the two of them discussed this matter again, they had thought about how to do it. After thinking everything through, they could do other things in time. According to the plan, we will pretend to be ordinary people and enter the city. Fortunately, there are not too many of us, so we shouldn't arouse the vigilance of those people. It should be fine if we are careful. In this way, they left here quickly. Except for some traces of carriages, it was as if they had never appeared here. The two of them came to the largest city here unknowingly. The situation here was not particularly good. However, compared with the downstream, the people here are still living very well. At least they still seem to have food and drink. It's just that the food may not be as good as before. Seeing such a scene, Rui Ziying's face became extremely ugly. He thought these people would go too far, but he didn't expect that the people here were still living in peace, while the people below were already. These people were greedy not only for the silver for disaster relief, but more importantly, for the other funds they had allocated. These people can simply be described as greedy. If they could take a little less silver, the people downstream would not be so miserable. Let's go. Let's find a place to stay first. Rui Ziying also knew that it was useless to be angry. The most urgent thing was that they needed to stay here. Although this place was no longer as prosperous as before, fortunately there were still inns, so they could stay smoothly. Food became particularly casual, and they did not make any choices in this regard. As long as it was edible, it would be fine. But they also saw that the food here was getting more expensive. Chapter 238 Natural and Man-Made Disasters. Because of the lack of water, there is no way to grow plants in this place. As a result, all food must be transported from outside. Therefore, food is naturally frighteningly expensive. Except for those who are particularly rich, the rest of the people are basically receiving subsidies from the state. They are starving and skinny, and they can't care about it at all. After all, it is very good to have a meal. If they rely on their own strength and have no subsidies, they may not be able to afford this meal. Some elderly people will even cut tree bark or make cakes with mud for their children to eat. Rui Ziying has been accustomed to such things along the way. She has seen such things happen in the previous places. Compared with the splendid clothes and delicious food in the palace, the life here is not a little bit worse. Even Mu Huanshan couldn't help but sigh at the suffering of the people after seeing it. The things here are worse than the previous ones, and the people involved must be particularly glorious. Geng Guanyu is not sure how many people in the court are involved. But once he found out, he would never let those people off easily. If they dared to use such a small trick to embarrass the people under his nose, he would never let them live an easy life. Rui Ziying said, "Let's go find Zhou tomorrow." I don't believe he doesn't know anything about this matter. Geng Guanyu also guessed that Zhou must know something, but why he didn't say it out, this is a big problem. It's better to ask directly than to investigate by yourself. As long as Zhou has these people in his heart, he will not hide the truth even if he has any grievances. Although the food in this place is very expensive, the accommodation is quite cheap. Rui Ziying and the others ate something and went to bed in a hurry. The next day, the four of them went to find Zhou together. Because it was still early, Zhou had just climbed out of bed. When he heard Rui Ziying and the others coming, he simply washed up and went out to greet them. "How are the four adults, Zhou? I have a question for you. You must answer me honestly. It's best not to tell a lie. If I find out that you lied to me, I can't take care of things here." Rui Ziying didn't hold back at all and directly stated her meaning. Zhou's face suddenly became serious. Although he had not been in contact with Rui Ziying for a long time, he knew from the previous meeting that Rui Ziying was a very easygoing person. Only when she really encountered something would her face become particularly serious. Rui Ziying's expression now showed that this matter was obviously very difficult. She originally thought it was a natural disaster, but now it seems that things are not as simple as she imagined. It is very likely caused by man-made disasters. "Tell me, what happened?" Rui Ziying said. "Are you sure you have sent someone to check the situation upstream?" Zhou nodded seriously. "Yes, and more than once." Rui Ziying also nodded. "Then please call all the people you sent over to me. I want to interrogate them one by one." Hearing Rui Ziying say this, Zhou seemed to realize the seriousness of the matter and asked, "What happened? Can you tell me what happened first?" Rui Ziying sneered and said, "Someone in the upper reaches dug the river to fish for gold. This is something that the emperor strictly prohibits. But they are so bold and reckless that they even deceived you. Don't you think we shouldn't take care of this matter? Zhou immediately understood why our Rui Ziying was so angry when he heard it. This was indeed something that the emperor prohibited. These people were not bold enough to be described. It can be said that they deceived the world. If Rui Ziying and others hadn't found out about this matter, who knows how many rivers would have suffered. Getting close not only damages the water environment, but can also cause trouble to nearby residents. If the water is seriously polluted, nearby residents will definitely experience some changes in their health. This is one of the reasons why this series of behaviors is prohibited. Geng Guanyu said, "Are you really completely unaware of this matter? I advise you not to think about helping them conceal it." Zhou said very seriously, "I really didn't know anything about this matter, and I haven't heard any news about it before. I always thought that this drought was caused by a natural disaster, but I didn't expect it to be a man-made disaster. These people are really outrageous. They dare to do such a bold thing under the feet of the emperor. I will write a letter to report to the emperor and make sure the emperor makes the decision for us. We must not let these people continue to be so presumptuous. This will not only have a certain impact on the nearby residents, but also make the lives of the people even more miserable. Without water resources, how are the people going to live? It's been such a long time, and there hasn't been a drop of rain. If it continues like this, the people will get sick or die of thirst. How can I explain to the emperor in this case?" Seeing that he was so angry, Geng Guanyu finally believed what he said. It seemed that he really didn't know about this matter. He didn't know whether the people above concealed it well, or whether he didn't really care about this matter. Or maybe he was too naive to believe that this was just a simple natural disaster. What made Rui Ziying believe that he was innocent was that he was so sad that he shed tears while talking. There were not many officials who could be so moved. It was enough to show that he was indeed unaware of this. It might be that the officials above knew that he was upright, so they deliberately concealed this matter. Even his subordinates joined forces to deceive him. In this matter, he was indeed a victim, and there was no flaw, which inevitably made people sympathize with him. Zhou, since you are not infatuated with this matter at all, then call all the people you sent over to me. I want to interrogate them one by one about what happened. Since you sent them to inquire about the situation, no matter what happened, they should report to you, but you were completely kept in the dark about this matter. This can only mean that someone deceived the superiors and concealed the truth. You reached a deal with the people above. The most important point is that they deceived you. Facing the betrayal of your subordinates, I believe you must have your own way of dealing with it, right? Chapter 239. It's all forced. Zhou's face was expressionless. No one likes betrayal, especially as a man, no matter who betrays him. Facing the betrayal of his victim, as Rui Ziying said, he has his own way of dealing with it, so he must not let those people off lightly. They dared to deceive the superiors and the subordinates, and made the people suffer so much? It was simply crazy. If they were easily forgiven, more and more people would choose to do so. It would be difficult to manage this matter in the future. So he immediately called all those people over as Rui Ziying said. He sent a total of 4 people to investigate the situation in the river above. Maybe the 4 people said almost the same thing after they came back. They all told him that it was a drought caused by natural disasters, and told him that the place above was not much better. But what they said was completely different from what Rui Ziying and the others said. If someone above was fishing for gold in the South River, their answer to him was that the drought was caused by natural disasters. This has caused deception, so he never thought of letting those people off easily. The 4 people were called over at the same time. They were all very frightened, especially when they saw Rui Ziying and the other 4, they seemed a little guilty. When they knew Rui Ziying and the others were coming, they had already become suspicious and speculated about the identities of Rui Ziying and the others. When they knew that Rui Ziying and the others went to investigate upstream, they already knew that Rui Ziying and the others were sent by the emperor, and they tried every means to inform the people above, but they didn't expect that their actions would be stopped before they could succeed. "My lord," the 4 people said in unison. Zhou swept his cold eyes over them, almost without any emotion, which made the 4 people feel cold in their hearts and they had realized a bad premonition. Zhou said, "These 4 lords want to know the situation upstream. The 4 of you have done the investigation before. Now report to us." The 4 people couldn't make up their minds for a while. What did he mean by this? What did Rui Ziying and the others find out? Or did Rui Ziying and the others not find anything and want to know the situation from them? Because both situations could happen, the four of them looked at each other and silently decided to treat Rui Ziying and the others as if they knew nothing, and repeated the words they had used to deceive Zhou. Zhou became even angrier after hearing this, and he had already made up his mind, just waiting for Rui Ziying and the others to decide. Rui Ziying had never thought that these people would be so arrogant. Things had already come to this point, and they were still thinking of deceiving their superiors and hiding the truth from their subordinates, so she sneered and said, "Are you sure there is no lie in what you just said?" This sentence was so lethal that the four of them were almost frightened at the same time. And because this sentence was so vague, the four of them were even more unsure whether Rui Ziying and the others knew anything, but there was a vague answer in their hearts, that is, Rui Ziying and the others must have known the truth, and they were just giving them a chance. So the four of them knelt on the ground in unison, and kowtowed like pounding garlic. "My lord, spare my life." After this, what else did Zhou not know? "You are ridiculous. I thought I treated you well, but you were bribed by the traitors and did such a treasonous thing. Are you worthy of the people? I have seen your results on weekdays, but you broke the law knowingly. Do you know what the consequences are? Not only did you harm yourself and ruin your life, but what's more terrible is that you implicated your family. Have you ever thought about such an ending? From the moment you embarked on this road, it was destined to be a road of no return, so don't blame me. All this is your own fault. Now I give you a chance. Either you tell me who the person who instructed you to do this is, or I can only behead you all." Zhou's tone was very serious when he said this. It didn't sound like he was lying to them or deliberately scaring them. The four people also knew the seriousness of the matter, so naturally they didn't dare to hide anything. They told everything they knew. However, they didn't know much, just some superficial things and things they had experienced personally. As for who the official above was, they didn't know how many people were involved in this matter, and they knew nothing. But think about it, they were just ordinary soldiers. How could they be involved in such an important matter? Even Zhou was kept in the dark, so they were naturally not qualified to know. When I went up there to investigate the situation, an adult arrested me. I don't even know who that adult was, but he instructed me to warn me not to tell anyone what I had discovered, and he also taught me how to deceive you, Your Excellency. Later, he gave me some money and warned me that if I dared to tell you about this, he would take action against my family. So I was always worried during that period of time. Later, when you, Your Excellency, sent a few more people over, I was also worried, fearing that my affairs would be exposed. That was when I learned that they had the same problem as me after they came back. I knew that the people up there had handled the matter very well, so I began to struggle with whether or not to report the people up there, but I was afraid that my family would be hurt, so I have been living in a dilemma. The first person spoke, and the second person who was sent over followed. My situation is similar to his. After investigating the matter, I wanted to leave, but I was captured and taken to an adult's house. I don't know the identity and name of that adult, and he threatened me in the same way. The four of them said almost the same thing. It can be said that they had the same experience, and that adult treated the four of them in the same way, and forced them to conceal the truth so that Zhou would not notice it. The four people knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. "Please spare our lives, adults. We have no choice. If we don't do this, we will not be able to protect our families." Although they knew that they were forced, they could escape the death penalty, but they could not escape the living crime. Chapter 240. Her rights are the greatest. Zhou still gave them a little punishment symbolically. Rui Ziying and the others also tacitly agreed to this. Zhou was a kind person, no wonder he worked hard for the people, but it was a pity that being too kind was not necessarily a good thing, and he would inevitably be deceived by his own subordinates. "I'm sorry for causing you trouble. I never thought that my men would do such a thing. But we can't blame them too much. They all have their own families and must be afraid that the other party will hurt their families. If we have to blame anyone, we should blame the officials above for being too greedy. They actually did things like blocking the river to dig out gold." Rui Ziying didn't say anything. "Since we have figured out what the people above want to do, then we must first figure out how many people are involved in this. No matter who they are, if they dare to do such a greedy thing, we must not let them off easily. After we figure out their identities, let's just catch them all in one fell swoop. We must not let them get away with it." Geng Guanyu didn't say anything the whole time. He was deeply shocked by the trip, and now this kind of thing happened again. It can be said that he was very angry. The reason why he didn't speak was just a leakage of his own emotions. Manziosi was also disappointed by this. Human greed is like a snake swallowing an elephant. In the past, they really did everything they could to make money, completely disregarding the lives of the people, and even doing things to deceive their superiors and subordinates. Don't they know that this is illegal? Mu Huanshan said sarcastically. How could they not know? It's just that in their eyes, money is much more important than these things. Even if they know they are risking their lives, they still have to gamble that the emperor will not pay attention to the situation here. Unfortunately, the emperor has eyes. What these people do will eventually be noticed by the people above. Once the emperor notices the situation here, it will be a big problem for them to continue to get away with it. Geng Guanyu said sarcastically. The emperor is not a fool. How could he not know what they are doing? It's just that the emperor is usually busy and has a lot of things to do, so he can't take care of the situation here. I didn't expect that this would become a reason for them to get away with it. If we don't deal with this matter properly this time, won't they continue to get away with it? The lack of rain is already a big disaster for the people, but they even blocked the river and blocked all the water sources. Isn't this leaving no way out for the people? Rui Ziying glanced at him, then said sarcastically, how could they care about the lives of the people? They only care about whether they have a good life. They are so greedy. The emperor has never treated them badly, and the salaries they should have been paid on time, but they are still not satisfied and even dream of getting more money. Using the power they have to do things to protect the people has already violated the original intention of the emperor to give them official positions. The emperor's purpose is to let you protect and take care of the people, but they use their status to exploit the people. Just wait and see the show. When the identities of those people are found out, I guarantee that their ending will definitely not be good. It is normal for their entire family to be executed and all their property to be confiscated, because Rui Ziying and the others had other things to do. They did not stay in this place for too long. Joji felt bad because of his carelessness, so he specially sent a group of people to follow Rui Ziying and the others to investigate the matter. However, because too many people would have some influence, Rui Ziying only picked a few more capable ones and left the rest to him. Having too many people is not necessarily a good thing sometimes. This target is too big and it is easy to be exposed to the enemy's sight. If they realize that we have taken action, I estimate that it will not take long for them to find a way to divert their attention. By then, it will not be so easy for us to catch them, so these few people are enough. As long as they keep them as a commemoration, it will be enough. The four of us have been to many places and done many things. So we will definitely intervene in your affairs and report to the emperor to give you justice. You work so hard for the people and you will definitely not come back at night. The emperor will definitely think carefully about a loyal minister like you, so you can rest assured. Joji didn't have that idea at all. Whether there will be a reward is no longer important to me. I'm old now, and I don't know how long I can stay in this position. I just hope that the people here can live in peace. His idea was almost exactly the same as the idea of the official in the first place they went to. The official also said the same thing to him at the beginning, but he didn't expect to hear it again now. It was not a long time, but Rui Ziying felt that such a long time had passed in the blink of an eye. She actually missed the time when she just left the palace, and also missed her child a little. Thinking about it, her child was only 1 month old, and she cruelly abandoned him and accompanied Geng Guanyu out of the palace. This was too cruel for a child who was just born. There was nothing more important than seeing his mother. But Rui Ziying had no other way. If they ignored this matter, more innocent people and children would continue to live a miserable life. So she had to come out to see this prosperous world and the dirty side underneath before she could go back to the palace with peace of mind to think about how to deal with all this. Come with me. Rui Ziying glanced at the group of people she had left behind, and then walked forward first. Those people followed Rui Ziying closely, and did not even listen to Geng Guanyu and the others. This made Geng Guanyu very depressed. He was obviously the emperor, but for some reason, he always felt that Rui Ziying seemed to have more power than him when he was outside. Others would listen to Rui Ziying, but not necessarily to him, and most of the time they would even choose to ignore him. Chapter 241 A Fight. The workers upstream were still working non-stop, sweating profusely under the scorching sun, but they did not hesitate to move their hands, as if they would be whipped if they slowed down. Several people wearing officers' uniforms, wearing hats and holding whips walked among them. Once they found that someone dared to be lazy, They would swing the whip in their hands without hesitation and whip the person's skin and flesh. Rui Ziying and others had witnessed such scenes with their own eyes. At the same time, because of the arrival of a group of people, some workers moved a little slower and were severely whipped on the back. The people who were beaten did not dare to be negligent anymore, and instantly accelerated their movements, shouting in their mouths not to beat them. When Geng Guanyu saw this scene, he wanted to stop it, but was stopped by Rui Ziying. In this situation, it is better to have less trouble than more. Besides, you can only manage for a while, but not for a lifetime. You can only solve the problems here first, so that these people can be truly free. Manziosi saw those people being beaten for no reason, and she became angrier and angrier. Do these people have no law in their eyes? They are so oppressive to the people. Even the emperor does not have this right, but they dare to go beyond his authority. Rui Ziying did not react much to this, but just said, "We have seen worse things along the way. Aren't you used to it yet?" Manziosi was furious. "It's not that I am not used to it, I just think what they did is too much." Mu Huanjun was carrying a lot of things. Along the way, he carried almost everything on his shoulders, and did not let Geng Guanyu and Rui Ziying feel any fatigue, let alone let Manziosi help share the burden. So he can be said to be the hardest working person on this journey, but he did not have any complaints about it, and even thought that this was what he should do. After all, there must be one person who has to make sacrifices in a group of people, and he would rather sacrifice himself than offend the other three people. Compared with him, the identities of those three people are simply worlds apart. He dare not leave such things to them. But after all, they have a month to go out. How can two girls not bring a few sets of clothes? So although these luggages don't look like a lot, they are not light in weight. "Oh, don't worry about it, someone is coming." Rui Ziying and the others' arrival had already attracted the attention of others. When they were talking about the situation here, someone finally came to ask about their situation. "Who are you?" Two officers and soldiers came over, and they also held whips in their hands. This is almost the standard for officers and soldiers in this place. Almost everyone holds a whip in his hand to spur these people who work hard. Rui Ziying said, "We are passing by here and are curious about what you are doing." The officers and soldiers brought by Rui Ziying had already found a place to hide, so the officials in front of them only saw the four of them, and because one of them was carrying a lot of luggage, they did not have any suspicion. "This is not something you should know. Go away quickly, or we will take action." Hearing that they were going to take action, Geng Guanyu directly blocked in front of Rui Ziying, with a gesture that said, "If you want to take action, just come over." Geng Guanyu's action immediately attracted more officials, and soon a group of officials surrounded them. Rui Ziying didn't want to fight with them, so she said, "We are really just passing by here, we will leave now." The group of officials obviously did not intend to let them go so easily. At the beginning, they did not think of taking action, but Geng Guanyu had already taken an attacking posture, which was an obvious provocation to them. If they let them go, where would their face be? "Stop right there." Soon after the sentence was called out, the group of officials realized what to do next. Even the oppressed people couldn't help but come over to watch the fun. Although they didn't know these four people, they knew in their hearts that if these officials really took advantage of their power to bully others, they wouldn't mind helping these four poor people. Among the four people, in addition to Geng Guanyu, Manziosi actually had some skills, and Rui Ziying had learned a little martial arts after completing the task because of the system, so at least she had no problem protecting herself. The only one among the four who didn't know martial arts was Mu Huanjun, but his lethality was also the greatest. It was almost impossible to bully him. He would sprinkle the poison powder, and the group of people would most likely fall to the ground directly. So the four people had their own abilities, and the people in front of them were just errand boys, and they didn't mean to take them seriously at all. However, the group of officers and soldiers did not think so. They relied on their large numbers and did not take Rui Ziying and the other four seriously. They even proudly thought that they could be captured and used as slaves. Everything in this place was originally closed, and ordinary people were not allowed to come. But Rui Ziying and the others not only came, but also came. If they came to them, they would never be allowed to leave. If the things here were exposed, it would have a great impact on their masters. The master has specifically instructed before that no matter who it is, as long as they come here, they are not allowed to leave. They will be arrested and handed over to the master for processing. The four of them did not look like ordinary people. If they were allowed to run away like this, the matter would most likely be reported to the higher-ups, and the consequences would be disastrous. A group of officers and soldiers almost swarmed over, and soon the group of people could not stand it anymore, and rushed over here with their weapons in their hands, looking like they wanted to rebel. This scene was unexpected for the officers and soldiers. They were completely panicked. They shouted wildly, "You are so bold to rebel," but they were already fighting with the civilians with weapons in their hands. Geng Guanyu and his men did not hesitate at all. They quickly showed their magical powers. After killing more than a dozen officers and soldiers in succession, the number of officers and soldiers was obviously reduced, and only a few people were left. Those people were obviously panicked and finally realized that they could not be Geng Guanyu's opponent. "You slaves, do you want to rebel?" Chapter 242 5th Rank Official. One of the men had been oppressed for who knows how long, and he had long disliked this group of people. After hearing this, he said directly, "I have been thinking about you for a long time. You bastards oppress us all day long and whip us at every turn. You really don't know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. How dare you? If you dare to rebel, the adults will not let you go. If you don't want to let you go, then don't let you go. Anyway, we are obedient and you have to beat us. We might as well fight with you like this, and we can still ask ourselves for a chance of survival." Rui Ziying knew that these people had been oppressed terribly on weekdays, but the remaining few people must not be killed, so she said, "Don't kill them, they are still useful." Then Mu Huanzhen took a few ropes from somewhere, tied up the remaining few people, and threw them into the river together. Rui Ziying walked towards the group of people. Although they were very energetic, they had no skills when fighting, so they were at a disadvantage. Fortunately, they were outnumbered and few people were killed. Rui Ziying directly explained her purpose. "We were sent by the emperor. The emperor has noticed the behavior here and wants us to investigate what is going on. We now need you to cooperate with us to understand the situation here. Once it is determined that their actions have caused a serious impact on the environment here, the emperor will intervene in this matter, and your hard days will be over." When they heard that they were sent by the emperor, the people knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Geng Guanyu and others. Geng Guanyu is the emperor, so he naturally deserved their worship. Mu Huanzhen was not calm and hurriedly ran over to help him up. "Come here quickly. We are not the emperor and you are of no use to us. We are sent by the emperor to help you solve this matter. You just need to tell us what you are doing. Since the emperor has already known about this matter, we will definitely not stand idly by. We will definitely solve the matter cleanly and will not let you suffer like this again." The man who had just quarreled with the official said, "I don't know what we are doing. They just asked us to do this. If we dare to be lazy, they will not give us food and will whip us." Rui Ziying knew that the official probably knew that what he was doing was illegal, so naturally he didn't dare to let the people know. As the saying goes, the more people there are, the more mouths they know, the more disadvantageous it is for them. So Rui Ziying reminded them, "You are now making money, and in order to achieve your goal, they have blocked all the water sources. The lower class people can no longer grow any crops, and because of the lack of water, some are sick, some die of thirst, and a large number of people starve to death. That's why we came to investigate the situation here, but we never thought that the officials here would be so desperate for their own selfish desires. They completely disregarded the lives of the lower class people and concealed everything and tried to create a natural disaster to avoid being noticed by the emperor. Fortunately, the emperor finally noticed the situation here and sent us here. Now that we have learned about this matter, we must not continue to stand idly by. Now you only need to answer us one question. How long have you been here?" The young man said. "I have only been here for 2 months, but many people were exhausted before I came here. We have to stay in the sun for a long time every day, and sometimes they don't give us water to drink or food to eat. The water source here is seriously polluted and cannot be drunk at all. However, some people, because of the hot weather and thirst, do not care whether the water is drinkable or not. Even if they spit out sand while drinking the water, they will drink it. However, because some people will get sick after drinking this water, the officers and soldiers do not allow them to do so. Once they see them doing this, they will whip them. Over time, naturally, few people drink the water here." Geng Guanyu asked, "Is the mortality rate here high?" The man nodded, and the people talked one after another. "How can it be very high?" "It is very high. Almost every day, people are taken away because of the difficult work. 2 have been taken away today. Yes, if you hadn't come to interrupt us, we wouldn't have thought of rebelling. We are usually oppressed terribly. Today we finally found a chance to vent our anger. Why should we leave these scum here? These people are not worthy of being human beings. It is right to kill them, Rui Ziying said. We will certainly use them if we leave them here. We want to get more information from them. After all, we don't know who the person is who lets you make money here. Then Rui Ziying found a soldier and kicked him in the stomach. Who is the master you are talking about? The soldier already knew the identities of Rui Ziying and others, knew that they were sent by the emperor, and knew that his master would probably not be able to get away for long. Hearing this, he did not dare to tell any lies. He said directly, "Our master is a 5th-rank official." Hearing that he was a 5th-rank official, Geng Guanyu didn't take it to heart. This must be a scapegoat. There must be more people behind this, and it is likely that the court has been involved. Otherwise, how could they be so bold to do such a thing? If there is no powerful backer, they will not have the courage to do things like making money. No matter how greedy they are, they will still take care of the safety of their families. Only when the status is high to a certain level can they be free from scruples. As long as they have made certain contributions in the court, no matter how bold they do, they can easily cross the sky and the sea, and because of their contributions to the court, they can use this to ask the emperor for mercy. Geng Guanyu will also have some scruples about this. After all, if such a person is killed, it will definitely cause dissatisfaction among the people, which will lead to problems within the officials in the court. Chapter 243 Inside Story. But we can't just stand by and watch this kind of thing. If we continue to let it go, who knows what the environment here will be destroyed into. The people on Zhouji's side have no food, and the floodgates here must be opened as soon as possible. You are just a 5th-rank official, but you dare to be so rampant. Manziosi was also very disdainful of this. Rui Ziying glanced at her, and then continued to say to the officer, "How long have you been here? Where did you take the dead people?" The official shook his head. "This is not our responsibility. We have been here for more than a year, but we don't know where the dead people went, because after someone dies, we will hand them over to other people to deal with. We are only responsible for the jurisdiction of this area. The task given to us by the adults is to watch these people and not let them be lazy. If they dare to be lazy, we have the right to beat them to death." When Rui Ziying heard the words "beat to death," her heart couldn't help but jump. These people were extremely cruel and didn't care about human life at all. It can be said that they were lawless. The people also felt that their behavior was very bad. It is because of the existence of people like you that the lives of our people are so miserable. You are not worthy of being human. We are all human beings. Why can you live so carefree, while we have to be whipped so badly by you here? You are not willing to give us 2 sips of water, let alone eat a full meal, you beasts. So many people died in your hands. Aren't you afraid of going to hell in the future? This is a serious crime that will be punished by the 9 clans. Geng Guanyu frowned. This group of people did have some quarrels. You said one thing after another, as if there were endless things to say. Almost everyone was unwilling to compromise. He could only say, "Everyone, please be quiet first. We haven't finished asking questions here. Don't worry, we will definitely give you justice and will not let you continue to suffer any more grievances." They knew better than anyone that this was a large industrial chain. Because a large number of people were involved, they could not easily alert the enemy. Naturally, these officers and soldiers could not be kept. Once they went back to tip off the news, the consequences would be disastrous. But if this happens, the lives of these people will be completely miserable. The 4 of them can run away, but these people will definitely be caught and asked what happened. As long as one of them can't stand the torture and tells the reason, then the matter will be exposed. So Geng Guanyu had a headache for a while. How to deal with the next thing. But what Geng Guanyu didn't expect was that Rui Ziying actually came up with a bold idea. She decided not to kill these people, but let them go back to inform the people above, so that the people above would panic and investigate who came here. In this way, it will reveal some flaws, and there will definitely be some actions. At that time, as long as we find out how many people are running around for this matter, can't we know how many people are involved in it? Although it is a bit risky, Geng Guanyu has always supported Rui Ziying's ideas, so this time he also didn't object and just listened to Rui Ziying's words and let these people go. However, this caused dissatisfaction among the people. We can't let them go. They have killed so many of us. If we let them go, more of us will die in their hands in the future. We absolutely can't let them go. If we let these beasts go, how can we live in the future? Aren't you sent by the emperor to handle this matter? Why did you let them go? Aren't you fakes?" Because they were dissatisfied with the way they handled the matter, they began to doubt the identities of Rui Ziying and others. Perhaps they were too lazy to argue with a group of people, so they just said, letting them go is just a temporary solution. We are not ignoring the things here, and you don't have to doubt our identities. We are indeed sent by the Emperor. If you believe us, just continue to do your work here and don't tell anyone that we are here. Once our identities are exposed, it will alert the enemy. If the people above notice it, it will be a difficult problem for us to investigate this matter and give you justice." After hearing Rui Ziying's words, everyone discussed how to deal with it next. Rui Ziying told them her thoughts directly. "If you want us to help you solve this matter, then you must help conceal the fact that we are here and don't let them investigate us. They can do anything for money. If we die in their hands, the Emperor will definitely not know what the situation is here, and naturally he will not care so much, and they can continue to exploit you." The leader said, "Don't worry, we will never tell anyone about what happened today." "Can you guarantee that these people will not tell anyone?" Rui Ziying glanced at the people and said, "Let them talk, but when they ask you, you must give the same confession, that is, shake your head and pretend to know nothing. No matter what method they use to deal with you, you can't say anything. As for these officers and soldiers, I just want to use them to lure out more people here. We don't know how many people are involved in our affairs, but one thing is certain, things will definitely not be that simple, and there will not be only one person involved. With his ability alone, there is no way to conceal the truth, so we can guarantee that there must be more people involved." They naturally believed what I said, and they also understood that there must be more inside information, and Rui Ziying and others did this just to catch them all in one fell swoop. So there is no reason for them not to support. As the saying goes, there are always infinite possibilities if you fight hard. If they choose to rebel themselves, whether they can be the opponent of those officers and soldiers is still a big question. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 244. I had expected the answer. We believe in you and we will listen to you. After pacifying the people, Rui Ziying released the officers and soldiers. After all, they were not the masterminds behind the scenes. Even if they were killed, it would not be of much use. It would be better to use them to lure the snake out of its hole. If nothing unexpected happens, the official master mentioned by the officers and soldiers will reveal his true colors in a short time and come to trouble them. As long as he dares to come, Rui Ziying will guarantee that he will never come back. After all, Geng Guanyu is sitting here. If he wants to be rampant, he must see if he has the qualifications. Geng Guanyu will naturally not let him go unpunished. Mu Huanjun was worried that the people had no water to drink, so he asked Rui Ziying, "When can the gates be opened to release water?" The people below have been waiting for a mouthful of water for a long time. Rui Ziying knew that this matter was urgent and could not be delayed any longer, so she kicked the officer next to her and said, "Take us to the sluice." They probably knew what Rui Ziying wanted to do. They shook their heads in panic and said directly, "You might as well kill us. If the adults knew that we took you to Kajia to release the water, they would definitely chop off our heads. It's death whether early or late, and it's more painful to die in your hands." They suddenly envied those people. It was better for them to be killed by Geng Guanyu and others than to suffer slowly like they are now. However, Rui Ziying never thought of letting them die easily. "It's too difficult to die now. We won't give you this chance anymore. Take us to open the sluice gate and release the water, or I will break all your legs and make it difficult for you to walk in the future. You decide." Mu Huanjun also said, "Don't worry, I'm a doctor. If he breaks your legs, I can put them back together so that you can experience what it means to be worse than death." These words made the officers and soldiers feel creepy. They often broke people's legs, but now someone threatened them with this matter, which made them feel unacceptable and afraid. Rui Ziying continued to threaten them. "I will give you two choices now. Either you take us to the sluice gate to open the sluice gate and release the water, or I will break all your limbs now." The officers and soldiers looked at each other, not daring to say anything to resist. They could only lead Rui Ziying and the others to walk forward obediently. It didn't take long for them to reach the sluice gate. Sure enough, this place had been blocked tightly with wood, and in order to let the water from above flow to the bottom, someone deliberately sealed all the gaps with clay. No wonder the people in Zhouji's place couldn't see any water. Geng Guanyu had a sword in his hand. When he saw this scene, he drew out the sword without hesitation and chopped at the wood. It was unknown how long this pile of wood had been here. Now it was finally broken open by Geng Guanyu with a knife. In an instant, it was as if a breakthrough was found, and all the water rushed towards the broken hole. Not long after, the water flow became stronger and stronger. The moment Rui Ziying opened us, all the water flowed without any obstacles and flowed downstream. The originally dry land was moistened by the water source and soon changed greatly. Rui Ziying even heard the cheers of the people. After doing all this, Rui Ziying and the others began to walk back. Zhouji may have known that there was finally water, and he was very excited when he saw him, Rui Ziying and the others coming back. 4 adults, you are finally back. Someone just came to report to me that after so many days, we finally saw water. Is this the work of the 4 adults? Seeing him so excited, Rui Ziying said, we opened the gate above. Zhouji said excitedly, no wonder, the 4 adults saved the people in our area. The people have not seen a drop of water for years. Now they finally see water. They finally have hope. It's not raining, and there is nothing we can do about it. But the officials above are actually blocking the river to pan for gold. This is simply intolerable. Rui Ziying's eyes suddenly fell on him, and then she asked, are you sure you really know nothing about what the people above are doing? Zhouji suddenly fell silent, because he couldn't understand what Rui Ziying meant by asking this, but one thing is certain, that the lies he had made up before had been seen through. So he lowered his head and said with some shame, actually, I'm not completely ignorant. Rui Ziying nodded in understanding. You just don't want to get into trouble, right? That's why you pretend to know nothing, but you have to understand that we wanted to protect you from the beginning, but from the moment you made up a lie, you have stood on the same front with the people above, and you pushed yourself into a fire pit. If you knew what the people above did, I advise you to tell us the original words honestly, and we may be able to make a decision for you. Even if you don't think about yourself, at least you have to think about the people on your side, right? What kind of life they live, no one knows better than you, and as an insider, you naturally kept it secret and watched your people live such a hard life. On the surface, you acted as a good official and took out your own private treasury to help them out of their urgent needs, but in fact, you are selfish. Because you don't want to get into trouble, you choose not to report it yourself, and keep all the truth to yourself, trying to conceal it in this way. Do you know that you have committed the crime of harboring someone? If the emperor knows, he will treat you equally and deal with you and those officials above. Since I already know about this matter, I will tell the emperor everything I know, so I can give you a chance now, as long as you tell me everything you know and don't hide anything. After some careful consideration, Zhouji finally showed a bitter smile. Perhaps he had already expected this day to come, but he never thought that Rui Ziying, such a young girl, could easily expose his lies and see the deepest secrets hidden in his heart. He originally thought that he had concealed it very well, but he never expected that it was full of loopholes in front of these people. Chapter 245, People Keep Their Mouths Closed. Perhaps they had already seen through the fact that he was making up lies, but they just never thought of exposing him from beginning to end. It's really ridiculous to think about it. The 4 lords are really smart. It seems that my little thoughts are as transparent in front of you. I can't hide it. In this case, I will tell you the truth directly. I really don't want to get into trouble, so I deliberately concealed this matter, because I know too much. If I really tell all those things, there is no doubt that I will be solved by the people above first, and I don't want to die yet. A long time ago when they did this, they had already given me a death order to help them keep the secret at all costs, otherwise they will do something to my family and ruin my future. I spent so much effort and finally sat in this position. Naturally, I can't watch everything I have being destroyed, and I can't watch my wife and parents suffer disasters, so I chose to help the tyrants and help them conceal this matter, but I can't watch my people suffer, so I took out all my money to help them through the crisis, trying to get the emperor's help in this way. In this way, I don't have to feel that I owe them anything. Since the 4 adults have seen through my clumsy lies, I will tell you everything I know. I know how many people are involved, but I don't think that these are all the people I know. I only know a part of them. After he finished speaking, he took out a piece of paper and a pen and wrote down a dozen names on it. When Geng Guanyu saw him write down these names, his eyebrows were getting tighter and tighter. Although these people were not very important, a 7th rank official alone knew that there were so many people involved. It seemed that the number of people involved was already countless. He finally understood why our Rui Ziying would focus on this place. It was estimated that the other party had already guessed this kind of thing a long time ago, so she came here specially. Otherwise, the drought in this place alone could be considered a natural disaster. How could Rui Ziying come here specially to deal with this matter? If it was really a natural disaster, they would not be able to play a big role even if they came, but if it was man-made, they could help solve this problem. Rui Ziying took the note and carefully scanned the names written on it, then said, "This is really a world of corruption. The emperor gave them so many rights, but they used their rights to do such unscrupulous things, disregarding the lives of the people. It's so sad. If there were no scum in the motherland, we should be united. In this way, even if we face the invasion of the enemy, we don't have to worry about anything. But it seems that the emperor still has a lot to do. Your report is meritorious. We will guarantee your safety and will not let you and your family suffer any harm. As for the people above, I believe that the emperor will not let any of them go easily. Now because Geng Guanyu has not been to court for a month, King Yanlin has been handling the affairs of the court on his behalf, so Rui Ziying quickly wrote a letter and sent it to the capital. Once the letter is delivered to King Yanlin, he will begin to investigate the information of these people, and then send all their identity backgrounds and family environments to Rui Ziying. Joji breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. He felt relieved. He had wanted to do this for a long time, but he just couldn't find anyone he could trust. Fortunately, Rui Ziying and the others were sent by the emperor, and the abilities of the four of them were definitely not as simple as he imagined. They were much more efficient than he imagined, and they helped the people solve their urgent needs so quickly and provided them with a source of water. It had been at least half a year since a drop of rain fell here, and things changed after Rui Ziying and the others came. After the officials in charge of blocking the river to fish for gold were allowed to open the gate, they scolded the officers and soldiers in charge of this matter. When they learned that they were beaten up by 4 people, the officials were almost furious. "You bunch of losers were beaten into the state by 4 people. We sent so many of you here, and you are all good for nothings, right?" The remaining officers and soldiers said aggrievedly. "We didn't want to do that either, but that group of unruly people actually helped the 4 of them to rebel. Most of us were entangled by them, so we lost to those 4 people. Those 4 people must be from the underworld and have great skills. We can't be their opponents at all. In addition, with the help of that group of unruly people, we lost so miserably." The official obviously didn't want to listen to their explanation. "If you lose, you lose. What's the point of finding so many excuses for yourself? You are a bunch of losers, and you raised a bunch of good-for-nothings. What use do I have for you, sir? Spare my life. Please give us a chance to make up for our mistakes. We are willing to take you to the 4 people and help you arrest them." These words were completely taught by Rui Ziying, otherwise they would have already knelt on the ground and begged for mercy, instead of negotiating with him here. With their status, how could they be qualified to negotiate with the officials above? They themselves obviously didn't realize this. The official was very angry at first, but after hearing what they said, after careful consideration, he decided to spare their lives and let them take the rest of the officials to arrest the 4 people. Aren't those 4 people powerful? Then he would send several times more people. He didn't believe that he couldn't catch the 4 of them with more people. That group of unruly people is really hateful. We must not let them go easily. They dared to ruin my good deeds. I want to let them know what it means to live a life worse than death. Come on, bring all the unruly people involved to me." Several officers and soldiers looked at each other, not daring to make any rebuttal. Rui Ziying may have realized this a long time ago and asked these people to keep silent about what happened. So this group of people kept their mouths shut. No matter what the official asked, they shook their heads and said they didn't know. Chapter 246, Killing the Chicken to Frighten the Monkey. The official pulled out a man on the spot and beat him up severely, thinking that killing the chicken to scare the monkey, but it still had no effect. The people still shook their heads and said they didn't know. One of the young men said, "You'd better not go too far. We really don't know anything. We don't know what you mean by rebellion, let alone who the 4 people you are talking about are. In our opinion, it is obvious that these officers and soldiers of yours are lying. They let the people escape and let people make trouble in your place. They don't want to take responsibility, so they deliberately put the responsibility on us, the people. If we really have the courage to rebel, we wouldn't have been oppressed by you for so long. How could you not even understand this truth? You are so oppressive, and sooner or later we will be punished by God." Seeing how confident they were, the official couldn't make up his mind for a while, not knowing whether what these officers and soldiers said was true or false. When the officers and soldiers saw his eyes looking at them, they were frightened and said hurriedly, "Sir, even if you lend us 10 times the courage, we dare not lie in front of you. How could we dare to deceive you? This group of unruly people not only helped those 4 people to beat our people, but now they dare to shirk responsibility and slander us. Yes, sir, they are the ones who are really slandering us, so let's chop them up." After hearing this, the young man couldn't help but said, "You just want to force a confession, are you feeling guilty, so you want to kill people to silence them? Although we don't have any ability, if you dare to take action by force, we will not be easily messed with." "That's right, if you really want to do it, then we won't be polite either. We have been oppressed by you for so long, it's time to resist. Bold unruly people, you are rebelling." The official was undecided for a moment and prepared to report to the higher authorities to let the higher authorities decide how to deal with the matter. So at the moment, he just had all the people arrested and put into jail. He also did not let go of the officers and soldiers and put them into jail together. Rui Ziying and the others were well informed and soon learned about the matter. Everything was going according to their plan, and it was going very smoothly. So Rui Ziying had nothing to worry about. They had more important things to do at the moment. Waiting for the letter from King Yanlin was just a matter of convenience. If the letter came, Zhou would come to tell them. And now they had to go to the local government and explain their intentions directly. They could not delay any longer. Otherwise, the lives of the people in this place could be imagined. But after having this idea, Rui Ziying and the others started riding in a carriage towards the county town that afternoon. According to Zhou, the 5th-rank official lived here. His name was Zhu Kongxi. Although he was only a 5th-rank official, his power in the local area was not small. Many wealthy families doing business in the local area would go to please him. Therefore, the place where he lived was also very vast, with a large geographical area, and even the door was very magnificent. Rui Ziying could guess what kind of person lived there with just one look. She took Geng Guanyu's jade pendant and knocked on the door. After explaining their purpose, she was laughed at by the gatekeeper. "You said you were sent by the emperor? I also said that I was the emperor's father. Do you believe it?" When Geng Guanyu heard this, his face suddenly darkened. This servant was so bold. Did he know what price he would pay for saying this? Even if his master didn't do anything, his words just now were enough to make their whole family be executed. What's more, his master had already done something unscrupulous. In this case, his words were even more sinful, and he was afraid that he couldn't run away even if he wanted to. Geng Guanyu didn't think he was more generous. He felt that he was a person who would avenge his grudges, so after hearing what the servant said, he took out his sword and pressed it against the other's neck. After confirming that there was indeed a sharp sword on his neck, the servant could no longer say a single extra word. "Please spare my life, my humble servants. I have offended you, please spare my life." Geng Guanyu waited patiently for him to finish his words, then swung the sword in his hand and cut his neck. Facing such a person, he would never show mercy. At the moment when the blood spurted out, the other servants were shocked. Some ran in to complain and call for help, while others were so scared that their legs softened and they stood there and dared not move. Rui Ziying watched all this happen, but she had no intention of stopping it at all. The man's words were indeed excessive, and he angered Geng Guanyu. Geng Guanyu was almost angry even if he was not angry. Soon Zhu Kongxi's housekeeper came to deal with the situation here. He looked at the servant lying on the ground, and then at Geng Guanyu and the other 4. He felt that they had extraordinary temperaments, and he didn't care about the corpse of the servant lying on the ground. He ran up to ask Geng Guanyu about their identities. "May I ask who you 4 are?" Rui Ziying took out Geng Guanyu's jade pendant directly. "We are the governors sent by the emperor. This person dared to offend the emperor. We have dealt with him. Please call your master out to explain to us why the people in your mansion dare to speak so rudely." After hearing Rui Ziying's words, the housekeeper was scared and sweated all over his head. He forced himself to be calm and said, "Our master went out for something. Since the 4 masters are the governors sent by the emperor, please follow me in. I will write a letter to inform the master and ask him to come back." He had pretended to be very calm, but Rui Ziying still saw his shaking hands. It seemed that he had realized something. Maybe there was no one in this mansion who didn't know what dirty things their masters had done, but they just chose to default. Rui Ziying glanced at Geng Guanyu, and when he nodded, she said to the housekeeper. As soon as possible, Rui Ziying and her friends were soon arranged to stay in the guest room, and then the housekeeper ran out to invite their master. Their master didn't know where he had gone, and the housekeeper was out for quite a long time. During this time, Chu Kongxi's wife had come out to entertain the guests in person. The wives of general officials would not easily meet people, especially when there were men among them. Chapter 247. He refused to admit it. But in this situation, she obviously couldn't care less. These were people sent by the emperor. How could she dare to neglect them? She personally served tea and water, said all kinds of nice things, and comforted them over and over again, saying that her man would be back soon. However, after an instant of time, there was no movement at the door. The four people sat like sculptures, and no one spoke at all. Mrs. Chu Kongxi was so scared that she didn't dare to say anything. She was afraid that she would accidentally say something wrong and implicate her husband. After another 2 cups of tea, Chu Kongxi finally rushed back in a dusty state. He glanced at Geng Guanyu and the other 4 sitting in the guest room, and confirmed that what his housekeeper said was true. But he didn't know why the emperor suddenly sent someone to investigate the situation. Could it be that the matter had been exposed? He just went to discuss with the officials below who the 4 people were. Now it seems that they are obviously the 4 people sitting here. And they dared to fall into the trap. Obviously they had certain guarantees, so what they said was absolutely true, and the emperor had indeed noticed the situation here. Could it be that their actions in recent times were too big? Because the river had been blocked, the people below really had no water source. Zhou must have reported this matter to the emperor. He was originally thinking about how to teach him a lesson, but he never expected that the emperor would move so quickly. He could no longer take care of how to punish Zhou for this matter. He had to think carefully about how to deceive the emperor. The humble official Chu Kongxi pays homage to the 4 adults. The moment he knelt down, the people in his mansion also knelt down on the ground in unison, and no one dared to stand. Geng Guanyu said indifferently, "Chu Kongxi, you are so brave." Just a short sentence made Chu Kongxi's legs weak with fear. Although he had never seen these adults in front of him, he knew that their identities were not simple just by their aura. "I don't understand. Please explain clearly, sir." Among the 4 people present, the one he was really afraid of was only Geng Guanyu. Mu Huanzhen was like a servant, and almost everything was taken by him. Chu Kongxi naturally didn't take it seriously. As for the other 2 women, he didn't take them seriously at all. There was no exception for women to serve in the court, so the 2 women in front of him were most likely just maids who came with him. Naturally, he didn't take it seriously. Geng Guanyu said, "You still dare to lie? Don't you really know what you did wrong? Do you have anything to do with the matter of blocking the river to fish for gold? You have been deceiving your superiors and subordinates like this, and now that the emperor has moved, you still don't repent." Chu Kongxi had originally had some luck thinking about Geng Guanyu. They came here just for other things, and never thought that the things they did were actually exposed. "Your Excellency's words make me feel ashamed. I really don't know what you mean, nor do I understand what blocking the river to fish for gold means," Geng Guanyu said coldly. "Do you really not know, or are you pretending not to know?" "Chu Kongxi, I will give you another chance. Now the emperor has known about this matter and sent us to investigate. If you honestly explain the process of your crime, we can deal with you leniently, but if you continue to be stubborn, when we get enough evidence, it will be enough to execute you." I don't know which word stimulated Chu Kongxi and made his thoughts more determined. He denied it. "I really don't know what you mean, my excellency. Please explain it clearly so that I can die clearly." Geng Guanyu understood it. He was betting that he did not have enough evidence in his hands to prove that the incident was related to them, so he dared to be so bold. If you had known that he had such a character, Rui Ziying, you would not have come to him so impulsively to ask him clearly. Instead, you would have waited until the investigation was clear, and then slapped the evidence in his face and asked him what was going on. But in this situation, she was not qualified to speak, so she could only leave all the matters to Geng Guanyu. Geng Guanyu said coldly, "So many people have been oppressed by you for such a long time, and you actually told me that you knew nothing. Such a thing happened within your jurisdiction, and you also need to bear some responsibility. How can you have the face to say such a thing?" Chu Kongxi lowered his head and continued to deny, "If I really did something that is intolerable, you can punish me, but I don't think I did anything wrong at the moment. If those people below did something wrong, I do need to take responsibility with them, but can you please tell me clearly what happened without my knowledge? Rui Ziying really couldn't stand it anymore. Chu Kongxi was a man of silver tongue. As long as they didn't produce absolute evidence, he would never admit what he had done. Moreover, he was certain that the people in front of him would not dare to do anything to him. Although they were sent by the emperor, they were not qualified enough to kill him directly. After all, there were only 4 of them. And the 4 of them fell into his territory. If he wanted to escape, it would only delay time for his people. But the monk could escape, but the temple could not. He also knew that he would fall into the hands of Geng Guanyu, but now he still wanted to struggle. Chu Kongxi, do you think that if you arrest all those people, you can prevent us from noticing this? Look at this thing clearly. Rui Ziying directly handed over the jade pendant in her hand. When Chu Kongxi saw the jade pendant clearly, his eyes widened instantly. This jade pendant was known to everyone. It was the jade pendant that Geng Guanyu carried with him. It was said that it had never been taken away from him. How could it appear in Rui Ziying's hands now? He didn't know what Rui Ziying's identity was, but the person who could get this jade pendant was definitely not simple, so he lowered his head deeply and began to balance his choice in his heart, whether it was right or wrong. Rui Ziying obviously did not intend to give him a chance to quibble and said directly, "The order given to us by the emperor is that we can kill first and report later. Now I just want to give you a chance to make amends. Don't be ungrateful." Chapter 248. This is just a temporary solution. Chu Kongxi panicked. No matter how brave he was, he didn't dare to offend the emperor easily. "Who are the 4 gentlemen? Can you let me die clearly?" Geng Guanyu said. "King Yanlin." Rui Ziying's mouth twitched. He really dared to say that. But Chu Kongxi believed it, because he had never been to the palace, nor had he seen the emperor and King Yanlin. However, in his cognition, the identity of the person who could get the jade pendant was definitely not simple, so Geng Guanyu's saying that he was King Yanlin was actually reasonable. "Your subordinate greets King Yanlin," Geng Guanyu said directly. "Get up, my brother sent me to handle this matter, but you are cunning and fickle. I believe that this matter of blocking the river to fish for gold is related to you." Chu Kongxi immediately said. King Yanlin misunderstood. "This matter really has nothing to do with me. Even if the emperor lends me 10 courages, I dare not do such a conscienceless thing. This is a serious crime that will be punished by the 9 clans. How dare I? You dare not. There is nothing you dare not. This king has just made it clear that I am the person sent by the emperor, but you dare to ignore me and deceive your superiors and subordinates. You are so brave." This short sentence made Chu Kongxi's hair stand up. This scene was too scary. He never thought that he would face King Yanlin face to face. What made him even more unacceptable was that he had just lied to King Yanlin. Although it was rumored that the king of Yanlin was a very easygoing person, and because he had been away from the capital for a long time, he was full of hostility and would not kill ordinary court officials, but he still felt a cold sweat. Because he felt that Geng Guanyu was not just a simple strength, he even saw Shai in Geng Guanyu. At this moment, he was sure that if he continued to lie, Geng Guanyu would not hesitate to chop off his head with a sword and hand it to Geng Guanyu. In order to prevent such things from happening again, he could only say, "King Yanlin did misunderstand me. This matter really has nothing to do with me. With my ability, I can't do such a bold thing." Rui Ziying asked, "Do you mean that there are more people behind this matter? Write down all the names you know to me, and I can ask the emperor to show some leniency." Chu Kongxi didn't believe Rui Ziying's words as a woman. Even if he was about to die, he still believed that he had dignity, so he would not be threatened by anyone at all. He just set his eyes on Geng Guanyu, hoping that Geng Guanyu could also give him this promise. Her words are the law. Chu Kongxi was shocked. He had never heard of King Yanlin getting close to any woman, but it seemed that their relationship was obviously not simple now. It was very likely that they had reached the point of being together. When did King Yanlin get married? Didn't he know? King Yanlin clarified, but the master should have announced it to the world. How could he do it secretly? For a moment, he doubted the authenticity of the identity of the King Yanlin in front of him. But because it had only been a few days since King Yanlin replaced Geng Guanyu, the news had not spread that far, so Chu Kongxi had not received the news yet. Geng Guanyu just brushed it off so easily. If he had gotten the inside information earlier, he would not have been bullied so badly now. "I don't know how many people are involved in this matter. But this matter has nothing to do with me. Every word I say is serious, and there is absolutely no lie. Please King Yanlin understand, Rui Ziying and the other three knew very well that he was lying. This was within his jurisdiction. If it was true that those people did not have his permission, how dare they do whatever they wanted? Even if they did this, Chu Kongxi could report it to the higher-ups. Since he did not report it, it proved that he had tacitly agreed to it. Since he knew that this happened within his jurisdiction, how could he not know about it at all? Rui Ziying's cold eyes swept over him. You are really stubborn. Come, drag Chu Kongxi away. Rui Ziying held the jade pendant in her hand, and the officers and soldiers did not dare to neglect it, but facing the adults in their own families, if they were really so bold, they would probably lose their heads. So they hesitated for a while, not knowing whether to kick Rui Ziying. Geng Guanyu had already known that these people would not obey obediently, so he called in the people they brought from Zhouji. Soon Chu Kongxi was taken away. And those people were also released by Rui Ziying. When the people heard that Chu Kongxi had been arrested, they were extremely excited, but Rui Ziying told them, this is just the beginning. There may be more people involved behind this. You have been released. Then go back to your respective homes. I dare to guarantee that there will be no such days in the future. With Rui Ziying's guarantee, they naturally believed it and kept saying thank you. Thank you, girl. You are our second parents. If it weren't for you, we don't know how many years we would have been enslaved by them. Yes, girl, you are our great benefactors. Please accept our greetings. They insisted on kowtow to Rui Ziying and the other three. Rui Ziying planned to stop them at first, but later found that it was completely unnecessary to do so, so she simply gave up the idea. After returning to the inn, Manzai asked Rui Ziying, Sister, what should we do now? Chu Kongxi will definitely not admit that he is involved in this matter. After all, we don't have absolute evidence to convince him. Rui Ziying certainly understood this. Chu Kongxi is cunning and changeable. Let's lock him up for the time being. But this is just a stopgap measure, not a solution. We must first figure out what kind of powerful people have moved in. We must solve this problem from the root. Mu Huanchen's stomach suddenly rumbled, and Rui Ziying was a little amused. Forget it, we have been busy all day today, so let's discuss this issue tomorrow. I'll go get you some food first. Although they have left the palace now, Rui Ziying is still more accustomed to making some food by herself, partly because Geng Guanyu is there. Chapter 249, Continue the investigation. On the other hand, of course, it was because her cooking skills were better. No matter how delicious the food cooked by the chefs outside was, she couldn't get used to it. So she was willing to cook by herself, no matter how hard it was. Manzai said hurriedly, let me help you, sister. Okay. When they arrived in the kitchen, Manzai and Rui Ziying said, there are too many people involved in this matter. It is estimated that it will take a lot of time. We only have half a month. Is it enough? Rui Ziying nodded. Half a month is definitely enough, at least it is enough to find out the truth. As for solving these people, we must wait until we get to the palace to completely solve them. After all, there are too many people involved. With our current ability, we are not qualified to punish them. We can hand it over to the emperor when the time comes. After returning to the palace, these things will not be our turn to take care of them. You should have learned a lot from this trip, right? Manzai nodded frantically. Of course I have learned a lot, and it also made me see the crazier side of this era. These people will do anything for money, and they don't care about the consequences at all. They are even willing to gamble everything they have to fight. Rui Ziying smiled indifferently. They will eventually pay the price for what they have done. Greedy people will not get any benefits. Manzai washed the vegetables and handed them to Rui Ziying. With my sister here, I believe all the problems here can be solved. No matter what kind of problem it is, it doesn't seem to be a problem here. Rui Ziying does have this charm, and this is also the thing that Manzai admires most about Rui Ziying. Rui Ziying just smiled casually. Don't think so highly of me, okay? I'm actually just an ordinary person, but I'm more than you think. We are exhausted after coming out this time. Before, I thought those people were bad enough, but until I came to this place, I realized that once the court officials become greedy, no one can stand it. They don't care about any consequences at all, nor do they take human lives seriously. They only care about their own goals, whether they have met the standards, and how much money they can get. Rui Ziying put the washed vegetables into the pot and sighed silently. Sister, tell me honestly, do you have any thoughts about Qing in that aspect? Manzai didn't expect Rui Ziying to suddenly bring up this topic, and was a little embarrassed for a moment. "Why do you suddenly ask this? I was afraid that you would be dissatisfied, so I asked you. In fact, I was just joking at that time. I didn't expect that you two would really fall in love with each other. Haven't you ever thought that there would be someone better than him? You really don't consider waiting for someone else?" Manziosi shook her head. "Didn't we agree on this at the beginning? Since we have already decided, how can we go back on our word? How disappointed you Queen must be. Besides, he is a good man. This skill is enough. After seeing so many corrupt officials, I deeply understand the truth. In this era, if you have a good heart, then you are really good. As long as you have a certain degree of greed, then you are a corrupt official. Corrupt officials are everywhere, but how many good people like him can there be? So I have decided on him and I won't change him no matter who comes." Seeing her so determined, Rui Ziying finally put her mind at ease. As long as Manziosi likes him, it's fine. As for other things, they are actually not important. As long as you like it, I will discuss with the Emperor to build a mansion for you after I go back. After Yu Qing passes the 2-year trial period, you can get married with him. At this point, Manziosi knew that being shy was useless. It would be better to say it clearly. Rui Ziying would not treat him unfairly anyway. "In that case, I won't be polite to you, sister. Since I call you sister, you should prepare a dowry for me." Rui Ziying nodded calmly. "Don't worry about that. I will never let you suffer any grievances in terms of price. I will not give you less than what I deserve. I believe the Emperor will also prepare a dowry for you. As for the Empress Dowager, I advise you not to count too much on her. I will secretly send you out of the palace at night. I guess they will drug you to make you temporarily fall into coma, and then declare your death in other ways. I hope you don't think it's unlucky." Manziosi shook her head. "This is the best way. After all, I am the Emperor's concubine. If other people knew that the Emperor's concubine remarried, it would be too unreasonable. So this method is the most appropriate. I understand the reason. Sister, don't worry too much." After preparing the meal, Geng Guanyu smelled the fragrance in the art and was very glad that he was with Rui Ziying, otherwise he would not have such a good feast. The Queen's cooking skills are truly unmatched. "Even after you come out, I still covet what you make the most." Rui Ziying rolled her eyes and said rudely, "We have been out for such a long time, why are you still not used to it and call me something else? Even if you call me madam, I have never looked down on you as much as I do now." Geng Guanyu laughed. "Aren't you used to it? Besides, there is no one else here." Mu Huanjun took a sip of wine silently, and then the wine glass in his hand was snatched away by Rui Ziying, who warned him in a very serious tone, "Children should not drink so much alcohol, it is not good for your health." "You are growing up now," Mu Huanjun retorted dissatisfiedly. "My sister has already arranged a marriage for me, why do you still treat me like a child? What's more, I'm not young anymore. What's wrong with drinking a little wine? Isn't this too happy?" Although the matter has not been resolved yet, as long as the four of them are together, it is actually a thing worth being happy about. It's just that this time the matter is a bit tricky and not as easy to solve as imagined. Moreover, this time they met a more difficult opponent. Chu Kongxi can deny that he has anything to do with this matter, but they can't do anything to him. Because they really don't have absolute evidence to prove that this matter is indeed inextricably linked to him, they still need to continue to investigate. Chapter 250 Countless Treasures. After Chu Kongxi was arrested, Geng Guanyu sent people to search his home. It turned out that Chu Kongxi was extremely greedy. There were many collections in his home. The price of these collections alone was 1,000 taels of gold. This is not an ordinary item, and it is not something that an official can have. Chu Kongxi confessed to this fact, and seemed to know that his excuses would not have much effect. However, he only admitted that he was indeed greedy, but he did not admit that he had anything to do with the matter of blocking the river to fish for gold. Chu Kongxi's wife has been saying that they didn't know about this matter at all, and that Chu Kongxi was wronged and was pushed out as a shield. Geng Guanyu didn't care whether he was wronged or not. Even if this matter really had nothing to do with him, he at least knew about it. Moreover, the officers and soldiers sent to fish for gold were all Chu Kongxi's men. Just based on this point, he could not escape the blame, and there was no point in quibbling. Now, the people under Chu Kongxi are completely under Geng Guanyu's control, and the officials above Chu Kongxi rushed over overnight after hearing about this incident. His attitude is completely different from Chu Kongxi's, and he even has a bit of flattery. Not only did he completely push his own people away, but he also successfully confessed several people related to this matter. The people he confessed were on the list that Rui Ziying got. Geng Guanyu and Rui Ziying did not hesitate at all and directly asked Mu Huanjun to take the jade pendant to arrest people. The official who reported it seemed that he was also wrong. Unlike Zhu Kongxi, he did not deny that the river blocking had nothing to do with him, but said how many difficulties he had and that he had to do so. Please listen to me, sir. I didn't want to get involved in this matter. I also know that this is illegal. If the emperor knew about it, he would definitely punish us, but I have no choice. After all, my official position is not as high as theirs. If I don't obey, I'm afraid I would have lost my head long ago. I also thought about reporting this to the emperor, but there are too many people involved in this matter. Every time I submitted a memorial last week, they stopped it, and they also warned me not to let such a thing happen again, otherwise my family will suffer a disaster. Rui Ziying really couldn't figure it out. Although people in the Syria are very loyal and righteous, it is not easy to threaten other people's families every time, and this trick works every time. She simply found a place to sit down. Anyway, it's not her turn to make the decision on this matter, so she might as well let Geng Guanyu handle it. After going out, Geng Guanyu has grown a lot. He can make decisions on many things by himself, and no longer needs to ask for his thoughts like before. In fact, this time is a good sign. After all, Geng Guanyu is the emperor. Although he didn't know how to do it before, a good emperor needs to learn from him, but now he can do it properly. He is also angry about the miserable lives of the people and is even more angry that his subordinates are so deceiving. In the past, he did not set a good example for his subordinates, but now he wants to be a wise ruler, manage his subordinates seriously, and let the people of his country live a good life. Geng Guanyu said, "You don't have to rush to clear yourself. I know exactly how many people are involved in this matter, and I will report your case to the emperor for his final decision. You have made meritorious reports, and I believe the emperor will reward you for this, but it seems that you will not be easily forgiven for aiding and abetting the tyrant, so you'd better be prepared in advance. I can also give you a real skill, but you will be responsible for assisting us in the future. If you assist with martial arts, I can choose to let bygones be bygones this time, but it's best not to have a next time. I can give you a chance to escape death, but that doesn't mean I can give you a chance every time. This time it's just that we need help when we're away, so we gave you this opportunity. If we had enough people, how could you not get this opportunity?" Baiju nodded hurriedly. "Thank you, sir. I will definitely assist you and find out how many people are involved in this matter." Geng Guanyu waved his hand and asked him to leave. This matter was really a headache, because there were too many people involved. He didn't know where to start for a while. He could only lure out the snakes little by little and pull out all the people above. Rui Ziying came over to help him rub his temples. "This incident has exceeded our capabilities. Although we still have some time, this half-month is obviously not enough. If you really want to solve this matter, you can only go back to the palace and deal with it as the emperor, or we can leave things here alone and go to other places to solve those things first. Now we only have these two choices. You should draw a conclusion as soon as possible. With their strength, it is naturally impossible to move the group of old foxes in the court. They need to pad some confidants to investigate this matter carefully, but Geng Guanyu is now worried that someone among his confidants will be bribed. After all, no one is not greedy for money. As long as he is greedy, it is easy to bribe them. Therefore, Geng Guanyu's idea is to solve the problem here with his own strength, and if it doesn't work, he will cooperate with King Yanlin. So he didn't agree with the plan proposed by Rui Ziying. "I will write a letter to King Yanlin later to explain the situation here, and ask him to send someone to assist us in the investigation. I really don't feel at ease if I hand it over to other people. I have seen so many greedy officials. I can no longer trust others. Now I only trust myself. Human nature is evil. Once they have power, they will not think about their abilities. The greater the responsibility, the greater the responsibility. Instead, they will think about how to use their power to gain more benefits for themselves. Facing such people, I can't do anything. I can only try my best to do what I should do, but such people are really hateful. I can't let it go any longer. There may be more things for me to deal with in other places, but I want to deal with this matter now. Even if it takes him half a month, what's the problem? As long as all the people behind it can be implicated." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like, Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.